What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Tell me why you're James.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to the dive bar of the IWC. Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks. I'm at Ref Marsh. We are at WOTR, the show. With me today is not Miss Amanda Jane for your Thursday Night Chaser, episode 1. It is, in fact, the In Time Bros, the Bros in Time. Jeremy and Justin in time. What's going on, guys?
What is up? To all those that are about to drink with us, we salute you.
Cheers to those about to drink with us. I'm having kind of a little cocktail here. Is vodka. I got some zero sugar Minute Maid Mango Passion and threw some Sonic zero sugar ocean water on top of that. Cut it with a little bit of water so it wasn't too potent. It's like a goddamn jungle juice, dude.
It sounds like some like spiked kind of Capri Sun kind of thing. Holy hell.
Yeah. Actually, it couldn't be jungle juice because it's ocean water and mango passion. So it's got to be like island juice, you know?
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I'm into it. What are you guys drinking? What do you got in your glass over there? What's going on? Let's start with Jeremy. I've already heard enough of Justin. He's bothering me.
I got like 3 sips of water, but I also got a Fanta.
Want a Fanta?
Do you want a Fanta? Yeah, I was so into that. The first time I ever had Fanta was actually in Germany, and I didn't realize it had already hit America, and I was so confused when I got back. I was like, what happened when I was gone?
Apparently Fanta made its way over here.
Yeah, it all happened so fast. What do you got over there, Justin?
We got sponsored, not sponsored of my own here. So, good old Mountain Dew.
Have you seen that documentary about Pepsi, Where's My Jet?
No. What? What is this? Sounds interesting.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, man. Of course it's on Netflix. Something I don't have.
Oh, you don't have Netflix? That explains it. It made me hate the Pepsi Corporation. I don't think it was supposed to, but I hate the Pepsi Corporation now. And it sucks because I think Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew are my favorite sodas.
That sums it up, I guess.
So now I'm fucked.
Damn.
It's just going to be root beer and sarsaparilla from here on out. Oh, guys, what a week to drink about.
Yes.
I want to know
Yes.
because you guys have been on here a couple times to talk about it before. Jeremy, I know you and Justin agree on a lot of things. What is your stance, Jeremy, on Gargano?
He's just sort of there. And the couple weeks of him having a whistle didn't really make any sense.
Mhm.
But you can't really say that he's been doing much of like anything important on television. He doesn't add anything. And when he shows up, it just seems like he's there to like remind people, hey, by the way, I'm Johnny Gargano. Don't forget about me.
So
This
weird.
makes me sad. Makes me
His whole
sad.
story with DIY and Ciampa all the way up to the Chicago street fight was so fucking good. And literally everything he did after that sucks.
Wow.
That was it. That was the end of it.
I mean, this is the most I've been uninterested in Johnny Gargano in a long time. And I hate saying that. Like, I'm punching myself right now saying that.
Did you love the way and how that all came to be in the wedding and stuff? You got a kick out of that, right?
50-50.
So
It had its
would you-
moments. Had its
Would you
moments.
be
had
on
its
board if
moments.
they called up Indy and put the way back together, sans Austin Theory?
Possibly. I don't know. I'd have to see what's going to come out of it.
If it wasn't
Again.
as goofy as it was in NXT, like if
Yeah.
it was just sort of like, I don't know, because it's hard to even say like how you make that group not goofy.
Exactly.
Again,
Yeah.
I
And they've
enjoyed the
gone
wedding.
really out of their
So-
way to get Indy to be serious in NXT.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that some. But I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, let's get Indy Hartwell up there and let's get the way going and stuff. And I'm seeing what they're doing with Indy now. And I can't help but think that the best thing that happened to Indy was breaking away from everything having to do with the way. Not that she didn't learn a lot there. And I'm sure she learned a lot from who she was with and, ears open and all that. But her identifying herself now as is, I think, is a lot more long-term to me personally. But
Yeah.
we'll get to that, I suppose. We took down notes earlier. Oh, let's talk a little news. A little news to drink about.
Let's do it.
So right now the rumor is, and it has not been confirmed by any of the sources that say that they confirm stuff all the time. PW Insider said it specifically that they have word from somebody close to the situation, whatever that means, that Sasha Banks will be at Wrestle Kingdom 17, I believe is the number, right?
Yes.
Mm.
They don't know what capacity. They just know that she's going to be there. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know what it all comes down to. I think Triple H is more open to. I mean, clearly he's more open to a lot of stuff. Shinsuke's about to have a match with Great Muta for his retirement in Japan. It wouldn't be a total shock. Although, God, with a character like Sasha, do you think a pop return is bigger or less than if she's appearing other places? I think it's bigger.
I don't think it really diminishes a return reaction for her. Like, she goes anywhere at this point, she's going to get a hell of a reaction.
Yes.
I think it'll only boost the reaction that she'll get, because a lot of people right now I've seen all over social media, she's become more of like a 50-50 sort of thing. Like, there's the people that are like, yeah, we want her back, please just get her here. And then now there's some people that are like, if she's leaving, just let her go. I'm just to the point, like, the people on social media are like, it's to the point that now it doesn't really matter to me whether she leaves or goes. It's just, you want to see a resolution to this at this point. And I'm leaning towards in the boat of that capacity, because I'm not in the boat of wanting to see her go to a specific company over the other. Doesn't really matter to me, because spoiler alert, I'm not that big of a fan of Sasha Banks to begin with, but I just want to see a resolution.
Yeah. I think it could add to the, like you said, I think it could actually build it, because I'm not the only person who doesn't understand contracts. It's evident by everyone who reports on contracts that no one understands contracts. So if she pops up in a company like NJPW, people go, well, that settles that about that contract. And you go, I don't think it does. You know what I mean? So I think if she pops up in NJPW and does something, maybe she has a match with Kairi Sane. I don't know.
She's basically just going to do the Jericho thing. She's going to show up once, build a feud, have the feud, disappear, come back, kind of thing. Like
maybe
I just heard about this when I got off of work. So I'm like, what the hell is this whole thing? Like with Sasha, and everybody's all like, oh my God, she's going to New Japan. Oh my gosh, she's going to go to New Japan and we're going to get a match with Kairi. And I'm like, yes, we're probably going to get a match with Kairi, but she's not going to do anything at Wrestle Kingdom. She's just going to show up after Kairi's done with her match. They're going to have a little tease face to face. And there we go. We're off to the races. There's nothing crazy going to happen. She's not going to wrestle.
Yeah, but still, I think it's good to start something or at least give that. Because on the flip side, she could easily be there as a guest. Just
probably
to talk
that too.
And just to hang out and just to be there. And she waves. And now they have Sasha Banks on camera. You know, like, who knows how far it is. But I do think the fun part of the fantasy book is if I'm Triple H and allowing my talent to do stuff with other promotions, I'm handpicking who they're allowed to do that with. And yep, Great Muta is safe. He will not hurt Shinsuke. Yep, Kairi Sane, I know and I trust with Sasha Banks. It's a match I would put here. So I think that there's room there for that. I also think that if she pops up over there, people have been saying, well, this solidifies it. She's going to AEW. I don't think it solidifies it, but I think it definitely keeps that conversation going. I think it's possible. Here's what I think could happen because I don't understand contracts. I think it is very possible that she shows up in NJPW and through the next year has a program, 6 months to a year, between NJPW and AEW. Pops up there, does her little thing in AEW, has a story with Saraya. Perhaps she's the one they teased about. We'll talk later. Maybe she teams with Saraya. Maybe they turn. Maybe they have a match against each other, and then that's that. I could not see a future where Sasha Banks right now would sign anything long-term.
No.
She's too hot of a commodity, right?
Not just.
If she shows up in NJPW and has a small program that's maybe even 3 months in AEW, now she can walk right back into Titan Towers, as it were, and be all like, all right, are you willing to pay me what I want now? You know what I mean? Because I also don't think that she wants to be everywhere. Yeah.
He's just, it's just, I don't think we should just be like, she's immediately going to go to AEW just yet. Like, I don't, like, maybe she will be the one, like we're going to talk about later on. I don't know. We never know. Like I said, I'm glad I'm glad I don't know. I'm just ready to see what the hell she's going to do because we haven't heard a thing about her, and it's going to be good to finally see her somewhere doing something.
Yeah, and we know she's been training, which is great.
Yeah, and for all we know, like, her being able to go to New Japan could just be a clause in her new contract that she signed with WWE. Like, it's clearly Triple H, like you said, is perfectly fine with sending his talent elsewhere to do appearances, like Nakamura going to face Great Muta. Carl Anderson is still the New Japan Pro Wrestling Never Openweight Champion,
which is still crazy to think of.
He's going to be wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom, so clearly he doesn't mind having his wrestlers go somewhere as long as he knows that the people that he's that they're going against is like not going to hurt them.
Yes. Sorry. I don't have a ton to add to that because I think it's just I agree with what you're saying, and I think that this is overall good.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And like you said, I kind of enjoy the not knowing part of it all because, like you said, it could be a clause. Like we said with Shinsuke, he's clearly not out of contract and going to be doing a very similar thing in a very similar time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at WWE.com, she's still listed as part of the roster. So there's also every reason to believe that she still is under contract. But maybe they're being a lot more fluid and progressive in it than people are willing to give him credit for. So
maybe this was just something she wanted in her new deal. Maybe she wanted a new deal, and this was something she wanted. And then, hell, again, you give Sasha Banks what she wants at this point.
yeah, because I mean, Jeremy might not have been a huge fan. I don't think we can disagree though that she doesn't have a star power. I think that WrestleMania main eventer
Yeah.
isn't just handed out to everyone. CM Punk never got that. Yeah. And the other stuff I think we'll talk about as we get to it on the show. Let me open up my other couple notes, because I think the only other thing is let's talk stuff.
Let's do it.
Oh my God, Miss Manna Jane's in the chat. I'm gonna it popped up over there. It says hi over there, Miss Manna Jane in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and block her right now.
Wow! This is so random. This is so random. Like, how the hell we have a full-on Ricky Starks episode of Dynamite and you're not here? What the hell?
I know. I was going to name the episode after Ricky, so when it popped up on the notification, it would immediately say all about Ricky or something like that,
There we go.
But
there we go.
Oh, the other thing that we did that I wanted to throw out there and just mention, because before we get into the shows themselves, AAA came to Tempe, Arizona, and we went to it. We got to see Cain Velasquez wrestle in person, which was pretty cool. Something that was impossible to not notice. Penta got the biggest reaction by a lot. Out of everyone on that card, including Cain. Cain, UFC heavyweight champion, one of two dudes to ever beat Brock Lesnar in a fight. And on bail. People thought they might never see him again. Still, his reaction was a third, maybe, of what Penta got when he came out. And we all knew Penta was coming out. There was never like surprise. It was, Penta's in the main event.
Also to mention, he's been in front of that crowd multiple times before. So, like,
a ton of times. He's a fucking rock star, dude.
Crazy.
Yeah. People love him. Miss Man Jane says she's just here till she takes off. I guess she's boarding the plane right now. She's flying. But yeah, dude, it was a really fun experience just to see Lucha in kind of its, I want to say like natural habitat, but it doesn't feel quite right what I'm trying to say, because like it was like in its Lucha bubble. I'm so used to American wrestling that has a Lucha match on there, or a Lucha show that seems really like really small in our area, just like, it's not even an arena show. It's like a swap meet, or most of the time they have it's like a small rock venue is where we have most of our Lucha shows out here. Just to see it on a larger scale and to see it all like together that way was just really cool. Like it. You're in the Southwest. Yeah, in the Southwest. But I also think that like, to me, it kind of highlighted just the different worlds of wrestling. I think people get misunderstood all the time when it's all like not liking certain styles in certain programs. I think makes sense. Like there's a good chunk of stuff that happened on that show that I don't think I would have liked on SmackDown. I don't think I would have liked it on Raw in the middle of it, but I really enjoyed it in its placement and environment here. You know what I mean? Because it felt like a different world.
I saw the videos you guys are putting up, and I was like, damn, that looks like it was a freaking blast to go to.
It was really fun. Sam Adonis was out there talking shit. His entrance video, he even posted on it. It was Argentina beating Mexico in the World Cup series. And it was just laughing emojis, and then he would pop up and be laughing. So fucking funny, dude.
He's
just
so
as soon
good,
as it came up, the crowd was just booing the shit out of him before he even came out. It was so good.
He's so good. He is so good.
Yeah, he was amazing. And it was really cool watching Cain. He was in basically a 3-on-3 match to protect him, and you could tell the amount of work that was going on. You could see even Sam was the only one working with Cain for the first half of the match. And I felt like a lot of that was to protect Cain because of how much Sam can get out of the crowd. It felt like there was a lot of trust on Sam there to tell a lot of story while minimizing what Cain was doing. Because Cain didn't have a ton in him. You know what I mean? He's been not training for a while. He's been dealing with a lot of other important things in his life. So
Mhm.
it was really cool and really well put together, and that was dope.
Awesome.
Amanda's already fucking starting in the chat. Here she goes. Look, she's like, when are we going to TJ for AAA when Marty's there? See, I told you, dude. She's not even on the show. She's trying to derail it about Marty. I said that. Oh. Yeah, if we do it on the right weekend, though, I can stay in San Diego.
Amanda's gonna be whooping all freaking night.
Yeah, she's gonna be whooping on the planes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was just a really good time. Really cool. Seeing a lot of those people. Yeah, there was a few people I even wrote down their names and people I looked up on socials just because I was like, hey, I didn't realize these guys were out here doing this, but
cool.
Ricochet's little brother almost.
Oh, Hijo del Vikingo. You guys seen this guy?
He's phenomenal.
Incredible.
Phenomenal.
Incredible.
There we go. There we go.
The noisemakers.
The guy who plays, that's the guy who plays eighth. And everybody was like,
It was like that, dude.
It was.
that's the guy who placed eighth on the freaking PWI 500, and everybody had a freaking conniption fit. Like,
Oh, dude, he was amazing.
he's
Oh.
incredible.
Have you ever been to? I mean, I don't know. You're in New York proper. Do you guys have like swap meets out there?
I would assume so.
I would believe. I haven't seen any really.
Not
Are
around.
you telling me you
us.
don't get outside of the house? Is that what you just said? You go to work and go home? Is that it? You wouldn't even know
Basically,
if there's a swap meet? Don't,
Basically, yes. That's what I do.
Justin, go outside this week, please.
I go outside, but that's about it. It's work and home, and that is it.
Justin, I want you to look up swap meets in your area, and I want you and Jeremy to go to a swap meet this month. No, next month. This month will be hard.
This month will be hard.
Yeah, this month is going to be difficult to try and weasel that in, I think. Because they're going to have weird hours. They're going to maybe do this weekend, maybe not that weekend. You know what I mean? Swap meets are going to be crazy like that. So next month,
It's
find a
somewhere in
swap meet
somewhere.
that's within a, do you even have public transit where you're at? You're pretty far out there, aren't you?
Yes. No, not
Yeah.
that far out. Like, I could find it easily.
All right, find it. They want something you can bust to, and then report back. Take photos, report back to us, and then we'll talk more on it.
Got it. I will send you photos and everything else.
Miss Manna Jane says, I hope I can see Splinter Fox's horrible typing in live time. I keep forgetting I can post the comments like that. All those times I'm giving Splinter Fox shit, I should be putting it up so people can see I'm not lying.
See, this was really the best to switch to StreamYard because that shit
Yeah.
comes in handy.
Yeah, it's getting handy. But yeah, AAA was a great time, dude. Really good.
Awesome.
Really excited. Noisemakers. There was noisemakers, light up toys, and sombreros. That actually happened in the
look at
crowd.
that.
It was a great
That's
time.
what I'm talking about.
$15 beers.
Oh yeah, I didn't get a single drink because every beer was $15. And I was all like, Miller Lite is not $15, guys.
What the hell? Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, so no. Not
That beer
having
better
it.
taste like gold if it's worth that much.
I know. I'm glad we went out before and had a couple drinks before we got there. So
There we go.
oh dude, their merch. They gotta work on their merch.
Oh no, AAA. The merch.
Their merch was all like, it looked like bootleg stuff. The screen printing was
No.
not very good. The shirts were like whatever they had lying around. There was not consistency there. Their water bottles had like stickers on them. So it was like a bunch of white water bottles that had a white sticker on top of
no.
it. And I was like,
Oh,
oh,
no.
man, you guys
Oh,
are
no.
a little too big for this.
Oh,
Yeah. So that was a
jeez.
bummer. But they did have one thing I thought was actually very well priced and very fucking cool. I just couldn't afford it at the time. They had a poster of the event, and it was the match card poster that they had put up, and every
Mhm.
single person on it signed it. And it was $150.
That's awesome.
And it wasn't like
That's-
a massive poster. It was like 11 by 15, maybe 11 by 17, something, something you could take home. So it was
That's awesome.
really cool.
That sounds freaking cool.
Yeah, because I love stuff like that too, especially the idea. It's like, hey, it's the show you went to. That's everybody on it, everybody on the show. So it's like, yeah, I wish more events did stuff like that. Even I went to the Hard Times for NWA. They were selling the posters. And they didn't even have like one of like everybody who was on the show. And I was all like, come on, guys. They're right there. I can see them. Just tell them to come over here real quick. But Amanda says, what do you expect? They don't want to work with pro wrestling tees. Don't fucking put over pro wrestling tees on this, Amanda. We hate them. Although,
wait,
what's up?
we were just putting that over last episode, weren't we?
No, we were talking about Colts merch last episode and how we wish that we didn't have to buy stuff through pre-wrestling tees for him.
Oh.
But as long as we're talking about pro wrestling tees, Sami Zayn, the honorary Oos, as our final news note, has another Sammy for Syria shirt coming out, drops tomorrow, December 9th. So depending on who's listening to this on what, it may already be live. 2 weeks it will be for sale. It says, my dog, and has a picture of Sami Zayn's face under the exclamation point for my dog.
Okay.
It's amazing.
That is wonderful.
It's amazing. I've gotten every single Sammy for Syria shirt, I think. No. The one I did not was the one Danhausen did one where all the profits went to Sammy for Syria, where it was a Danhausen and an El Generico mask. I did not get that one.
Oh, man.
But still, this may be the only purely Sammy one that I may not be able to get.
That's an awesome sounding shirt.
Yeah, it's so good. Guys, let's talk some NXT and then we'll talk AEW because I want to make sure Amanda's long gone before we talk about Ricky.
Wow. We're going to deny her Ricky time? Wow.
She's going to have to guess what I have to say about Ricky. Was he good or was he shit? Who knows? Who knows?
It's like a giant cliffhanger on a Dragon Ball episode.
Yeah, maybe we hated it. You never know. She says, okay, I'm going.
The worst thing he's ever done.
Wow. That's a little savage.
Well, I was going to end the show with it anyways, especially because, I mean, if we had gotten Amanda, I'd have been like, let's wait, let's get everything out of the way, and then do the whole thing on Ricky. So put it all out there and get some time. She says she needs to do a rebuttal show. We should do a show where we just dunk on Ricky the whole show. Then she has
that's
to come
gonna be
back
so hard.
with bullet points. And she's like, you said this, but like
It'd be so hard to do.
just a fucking transcript of the episode. She's got all highlighted and marked up. This was bullshit.
Who said what at what time? Specific seconds.
Yeah, exactly. On minute marker.
We need timestamps and everything else.
Justin said this at 27 minutes and 37 seconds, 42 milliseconds.
Yeah,
I'll get
absolutely.
I'll get pie charts. Yes.
I'll get pie charts, she says. But also, I think there was a lot more interesting stuff happening on AEW right now than NXT. You know, like, call a spade a spade. Like I may not think AEW is for me most of the time, but right now, as far as like overall enjoyment, yeah, I probably enjoyed NXT a little bit more, but there's just not as much going on. If someone were to say which one was can't miss this week, I'd be like, AEW was one that I'd make sure someone watched just because of the Ricky stuff. But I mean, there was some stuff on there that I'm ready to dunk on. But on NXT, it was just kind of like, yeah, it's kind of just doing what you thought it was going to do, and the winners were kind of who you thought they were going to be. Like NXT is kind of flat. It's not necessarily bad. It's not fantastic. It's just kind of steady as it goes.
That's my one thing about NXT as of late, is it just feels, I don't know, like it's just at a standstill.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's happening. It's just, I don't know. It's just really kind of disappointing because like NXT was like my favorite show of the week all the time. And now it's just like there.
And the weird part about it too is like, I'd like to say they just need to do something that'll freshen it up.
Yeah.
Jane's leaving. She says bye.
Bye.
Bye. I want to say like, oh, you know what? Maybe it's just stale. Maybe they got to freshen stuff up. Maybe they got to like, sprinkle some stuff back in. But I mean, we had Axiom win a triple threat against Andre Chase and Von Wagner. That would have been hard to call. I would have figured Von Wagner was probably going to win it.
Me too.
Just because they've done so little with Axiom, not because he's not good.
Yeah, that was a surprise to me.
Yeah. Tony D'Angelo came back. He had a match with Zion, who we haven't seen him either in a bit. Charlie Dempsey had actually a really good match with Hank, I thought, which we'll talk about. New Day showed up. I mean, Isla Dawn had her first match. It's not like you can say that they're not shaking things up a bit, but it doesn't feel like anything's getting shaken up. You know what I mean? Like on paper, you go, oh, yeah, that's new. Oh, yeah, we haven't seen them. Oh, yeah, New Day's never been on here. But at no point were you just kind of like, this feels fresh. You just go, okay, this is NXT, I guess. You know what I mean?
I think the main problem is at the top. Like the only main title change that they've done is the North American title. Everything else just has been sort of the same. Braun Breaker's been the champion for a year. Mandy Rose has been the champion for a year. Pretty Deadly's had the title twice in 8 months.
Yeah.
The weird thing with the tag title still to me feels like we went backwards.
Yeah. But the other thing is I don't feel like they have the wrong champions. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like if I look at the women's division, if I look at it honestly, I don't feel like that Mandy isn't the top of that division. I feel like that there's 1 or 2 women who you could see do it, but it's with an asterisk. You know what I mean? Like, there's no one here sitting there going like, why isn't this person a champion? This is foolish. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got like Roxanne. You got like Cora.
But they don't feel like they need to be champions right now. They feel like they will be champions inevitably, and you're like okay with it. You know what I mean? It's not like, how are you not?
And I feel like that's the main problem is that the champions that they have, they're the right decision, but they've gotten old to the point that they have to change the champions. But there's nobody in line to change the champions to. That would make sense.
Do you think it's a matter of they aren't building the talent to be the top, or that the talent, because they are learning, and so many of them are starting from square one, that they're just not getting ready fast enough for our personal wishes on what may or may not feel stale?
It depends on the talent, really. I think depending on who you would name, either or of those would be a correct answer.
I think it's because we've seen a lot of people that have like really connected really fast, and we're just expecting everybody to connect that fast, which is crazy. Like you see Braun Breaker already has it down pat. Like
right. When Braun Breaker showed up, everyone said, make him the champ now. Right.
Right. Carmelo, he's got it down pat. Like,
Mello showed up, we said, make him the champ now. But like, there's no one else like that where you see him go make them the champ right now.
Hmm. So we're all just sitting here like they could go to the main roster now at this point. And it's just like, again, NXT just feels like, but what are we going to do after that? Like, they're very confused at their situation here. And it's like they're just stuck in one place right now, and nothing seems to be happening. And it's just like they just got too many things going against them right now.
And it's kind of interesting too, because when you say it like that too, that there's more people on the roster that we feel like should go to the main roster than we feel should be the champion. So it's almost like being a champion. It still means something, but in a way, going to the main roster doesn't necessarily mean as much as being champion. We've actually built the importance of the championship to be greater than just the act of going to the main roster. Where before it was you become champion, hopefully, and then once you're champion, okay, now that means you're ready to graduate. Where now it's like, no, the NXT champion's very, very important. You can still learn stuff on the NXT Raw or on the Raw or SmackDown rosters. So you don't have to be good enough to be the champion to be there and still be learning and make your progression. Because we also, if we don't see you as NXT champion now, then we also don't see you as SmackDown champion now. So we are going to give you that leniency when you get to the main roster to say, yep, let's keep it growing, put you with other talent, fresh veterans. Like we're like super forgiving in that way as a fandom, which is kind of interesting. We hold the NXT championships to high regard, and calling them to the main roster is also a thing you can do.
I think we've always done that. Everyone's done that. Yeah. We've always looked at the NXT titles and said, they're still just as big as every other title. Like,
yeah.
And I feel like that's where NXT is like, they're thinking of their title as like, if we're going to put a title on you, we're going to put you on a bigger platform than you were previously, but you still have work to do. Which, in some cases, like what we have now, most of the champions don't need to be there anymore. Braun Breaker's ready, in my opinion. Mandy Rose and the entirety of Toxic Attraction are ready to go up. Yeah. Even the women's tag team champions, Kaden and Katana, they could go up as well. Join the main roster's tag team division. It's just the fact that the champions they have now seem like too seasoned of veterans for, as they label it, developmental.
Do you think that's also a problem? Is that they still kind of don't know what they are, though? Because now they've done so many reboots with themselves right now that they're just kind of like, are we developmental? Are we another show? Like, what are we here at this point?
Yeah. Maybe we're all going through the same identity crisis with them, and that's why we're also having a hard time latching on, because we're like, I don't know how to see you right now.
True.
Because, yeah, I mean, you look at a Von Wagner, and people can say he's boring all you want, but I see future champion in his aura.
He's kind of growing on me a little bit. It's crazy to say that.
He's coming along. What's that, Jerry?
He's impressive.
Yeah, he's impressing right now. You know what I mean? Like, he went from like, hey, this guy is slow and boring to, there's a future with this guy. And now you start to go like, you could probably start putting him in those North American title matches and have it make sense. Like, now it's getting also like, hey, we probably take away his manager now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you don't need Mr. Stone anymore.
Please, no more Robert Stone.
Well, I mean, regardless of whether it's Robert Stone or not, I don't think he needs a manager.
Please, no more.
Yeah. I think. Oh my God, dude! Let's talk about the first match. As we're talking about some of these guys, I mean, we just said Von Wagner. You watched this match, right? You watched the show?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to be a dick, but my takeaway on this match was Andre Chase was so much worse than I thought he would be. I've not watched many of his matches. I skip him a lot of times because I go, I'm not into the character. I don't like this teachable moment thing. He seems like a knockoff EC3, and EC3 is already a knockoff to begin with. And I was like, so, you know, some of the character I kind of like dig, but it's overly cartoonish in a lot of ways. Super cartoonish. I was watching the match though, because I was like, you know, I like Axiom. I like Von Wagner. I want to see who's going to be in this match. I'll watch it. And I could not believe how slow, how uncoordinated, how much he missed things. It was like watching someone on their first day against people who've been there a while. Like, why are you in here?
It definitely shows. He is very slow.
I thought he was going to be so much better. I thought he had to be getting it done in the ring if they're investing so much in him, because they're investing a ton. Chase U is revolved around him. Without him, that's 20 storylines gone. You have people in the crowd waiting for their moments to come out and do their Chase U shit. You know what I mean? Like, what happens to Thea and Duke if Chase goes away, right? They're investing so much in Chase, they're putting others around him to be equated to him. And then I saw him wrestle and I went, what?
That's my one issue with him. He needs to turn it up. He's too freaking slow. He does like whiff a lot of stuff. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's like he moves like a robot. He's like this. And I'm like, why the fuck does he move like that? There's no way in hell that sweater contains him that much that he can't move.
Yeah, he's wearing a sweater. He's not wearing chainmail.
Like, I think the character's there. The character's there, but it's just like, I don't know what the wrestling. It's still kind of comes off there, but then it's like, nope, not there.
And his character's gotten better. While those around him are getting more exaggerated, he's becoming less exaggerated. He's dialing it down, which I was talking to producer lady about this when we were watching NXT. She was like, oh my God, Thea Hale. She's like, can she just fucking turn it down by like 50%?
She is a lot. She is a lot.
She's a lot. And I was like, yes, But I feel like it's so. I feel like I'd rather have somebody where I need to say you got to turn it down a little bit than try to figure out how to get someone to turn it up. And so I was like, so I feel like there's a lot there to mold. She's also a hell of an athlete, and she had a match this week too, and she did great. So you kind of go, well, there's a lot here. And if the problem is you're fucking way higher energy than we want you to be, then it's a lot about turning it down till you hit the right temperature versus some people where you're just like, just crank it up already, you know? And Andre Chase has brought his character down some, which has made him a lot more interesting to me. But in this match, I was like, you don't belong here, dude.
Can I just be brutally honest here? I'm not even digging the whole thing with Duke Hudson. I'm
I
really
hate
not.
everything with Duke Hudson.
I can't stand it. I can just feel where this is going. It's like obvious where this is going. Duke's just going to turn on both of them. And it's just going to be that whole story of, what, you didn't think Duke Hudson was an asshole? Like,
do you think he goes back to being a poker player?
He might just go back to being a regular guy on the roster at this point. It's not going to last.
Duke was the poker player before. Do you think he turns on Andre Chase and then says some sort of like, you got to know when to fold him?
He could. He could.
Don't say that too loud. Shawn Michaels is always listening.
That's a good point.
They'll be throwing him up there with freaking Baron Corbin and have them have like a poker off with each other.
That's true.
But we're so impressed that Duke Hudson will join it and make a tag team with Baron Corbin.
I do feel like more than ever at the end of this match and the end of this episode, I absolutely think it's time to dissolve Chase University and all of everything around it. Just dissolve it and rebrand everybody who is a part of it. I don't think we're going anywhere fun. I think Andre Chase was such a fish out of water. I'd rather you say, hey, dude, let's go ahead and scrap all this stuff you're investing in and actually work on what's going to matter. Because I walked away just thinking Von Wagner were pretty dope and Andre Chase shouldn't be on TV. That's what I thought after this.
I think the main problem with Andre Chase is that he works a style that he's not used to. Like, I feel like he's, like you said, he's so slow, but he also tries to do really high-flying, quick moves. And he just looks awkward trying to do them.
Yeah. That could be.
It's like it's not his style, and he's like, look at me, I can be different.
What'd you guys think of the Scripps vignette?
No.
Yeah, no. It's so hard to take the character seriously after I just watched him be a fucking butler for months.
The whole Scripps
It's
thing.
It's not even like it's a different style. It's just Reggie in an oversized mask trying to sound intimidating, but doing the same flipping moves.
He sounds like he's ironic for a character named Scripts. He sounds like he's scripted and someone else is reading his lines.
Yes.
It's so weird. Like, I'm trying to think of any other repackaging that was that jarringly obvious and like
disappointing.
Terrible. Yeah, and disappointing. Maybe like fake Diesel, where they said we're bringing back Diesel and Razor, and then you get two dudes who are not Scott Hall and Nash, and you just kind of go, why are we doing this? Like,
because the vignettes were so interesting. You're like, who could this be? And then they come out and it's Reggie in an oversized mask.
Yeah, that was such a. Soon as he came out the other week, I was just like,
he literally like stole Serpentico's mask. It literally looks like he took Serpentico's mask and just fucking wore it.
I immediately just like, I was like a balloon. I just deflated in the seat. I was sitting and I was like, I was kidding.
I was dumbfounded. This guy walks out here and I'm just like, this should be an awesome reveal. He walks out and it's Reggie and I'm like, and that was not what I wanted.
No, I would have preferred diarrhea. The thing is I like Reggie. And I think he's so good and talented. And everything he did with Carmella was awesome. And everything he did in 24/7 worked. So when they did all this thing and it was who could it be? Who could it be? And I was like, oh, maybe it's somebody dark like Vincent and all that shit, right? Then it's Reggie in a weird mask. I just went, what
What are we doing?
yeah,
Who
like
thought-
fuck, man.
I
like
wanna know
Shawn
who
Michaels
thought it.
is back there. What are you doing?
I don't know what's going on with Shawn Michaels
Such
anymore.
a disconnect.
And then the fact that he's clearly a heel. He's talking about demolishing all the chosen ones, which is very similar to what Karrion Kross is doing on the main roster. But he's talking about demolishing all the chosen ones, and he's doing all, like I said, he's doing all these high flying moves. How can you boo a guy who is that
Fucking
impressive in
spectacular.
the ring?
Yeah. Makes no
He's
sense.
doing Molly go rounds off the top rope.
That's my thing.
And you expect people to be like, "Boo! What are you doing?"
That's my thing with Reggie. I wanted Siri. I wanted to see what serious Reggie is, but it's like this still feels like goofy Reggie.
I don't even think I need a serious Reggie. I think you could just do Reggie. Like, I don't know if you ever saw any interviews he did on any of the media rows or anything like that for like the Wrestling Links in them. He's
No.
just a nice, charismatic guy. And that's fine. I think when you're that flippy and and you're just a nice, charismatic dude, I don't think you need to overcomplicate this. Go out there and do what you know how to do. And when they interview you, be a nice guy. People will cheer you. They're like, I like that guy. He's nice and he flips like crazy. He
Yeah.
gets stuck in the air. The air's too thick for him. You know? Like, it's fine. So it's just really weird. They're just so overcomplicating him, and I don't get it. Tony D'Angelo came back, though. He had the match with Zion Quinn. I thought it was good. Cut the promo. Wesley came out. I thought that was good. Maybe that's also part of it. It's just such highs and lows with this. You're watching going, what? Like, I think the developmental feels like fucking training. And then the good stuff feels like, I don't know why this is on this. Like, it's out of place almost.
The show fluctuates way too much.
Just like Tony D'Angelo kind of does a little bit, if you think about it.
I don't. The thing is like, clearly Tony D'Angelo is still a heel. But then they put him against Zion Quinn, who, for all we know, is a heel. But he's also just sort of, I don't know. I brought this up to my brother when we were watching NXT on Tuesday. What a drop off for Zion Quinn, huh? He seemed like he was getting such a push at first. I don't know what. I'm wondering what he did wrong, or like if he just hasn't had the production, or like he's not impressing people. For all I know, he was impressing me for damn sure. But now
I was looking forward to him. Him and Dante Chen too. Super impressive. Who just
what
the fuck? Yeah.
Chen came in with such hype, and it's just like, again, another one of those. Oh, we have a video package for you to hype you up for him, and it's like, cool. I can't wait to see this guy. Then he immediately gets injured, and it's like, okay, well, I still can't wait to see him when he comes back, and that's been about it.
Now he gets jobber treatment. It's so fucking crazy. Like, I don't know, man. Charlie Dempsey's match with Hank Walker, though, was it you, Justin, who had an issue with Hank Walker? Didn't you like not get him for a while?
I don't know how I feel about Hank just yet.
Yeah,
he's still kind of like, you could definitely still see he needs a lot of work.
What I like about him, I feel like is what Hangman Page thinks he is. Where this dude truly is the everyman, the generic. Anyone could be this dude, but he's working his ass off and he's blue collar as fuck about it, and he's not going to give up for nothing. Although he gave up in this match, he tapped out. So,
I mean, that submission looked pretty fucking brutal. He was making him look at his foot. He was making him look at his foot, and that had to suck.
Yeah, it was more intense than when Bret Hart made Lawler lick his own toes. This was like that, but like from reverse. He would like scorpion legged him into his own foot in his mouth. So I don't blame him for tapping out. But actually, I liked the match, and I'm digging Hank Walker as a character because I also don't think that they're putting the fucking world title on him and making him seem like he's an irresponsible drunk. Like, I think that this is how you can do that character well, where when you see him, you go, I like that guy. He's got gumption, because I'm old school, you know?
This was a solid showing from him. I'll give him that one. He definitely had a good one in here with Dempsey, and I like the little Gulak tease. I don't know what the hell's going on with that, but
Yeah.
very
Gulak
interesting.
scouting Dempsey. Can you imagine, though, just from a kayfabe standpoint, Gulak shows up, you're a young upstart, and you just twisted this motherfucker into a pretzel, just a twisted cheese bagel from Dunkin' Donuts. And then Gulak comes out and goes, I think I could teach you something. And you're like, not winning. I don't know what you definitely couldn't teach me to win something. Yeah.
Wow.
My PowerPoint's already solid, dude. You know? I do less presentations than you'd think. Like, from a kayfabe standpoint, from a reality standpoint, we know Gulak's a bad motherfucker. But from a kayfabe standpoint, he's a fucking loser, dude. he loses and he gets buried and he gets lost in the shuffle, and that is what he does.
Got beat up
So
by
it's like-
Charlotte Flair.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Beat up by Charlotte Flair. Yeah, I think that it's just weird to be like, Gulak scouting him. Ooh. You're like, don't scout me. Please go back. Please go back.
Turn around. Go the other way.
Turn around. New Day interrupting Pretty Deadly. I thought was really fucking cool that we're having the New Day show up and they're going for the tag championships. I just wish it wasn't Pretty Deadly. I just don't care for them or their characters at all. So I was like, that sucks.
It just felt weird.
Couldn't agree more.
Just
Yeah,
felt very
Tyson knows
awkward.
right away.
It just felt like Pretty Deadly's got no competition because they've already ran through the only 4 teams we have in the division.
Yep.
Bring the New Day down because we need a tag title match for Deadline. And I was just like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's cool that New Day's doing a thing, but yeah, outside of New Day, there's I don't know.
I kind of hope New Day just win.
Yeah. I think that'd be great if they just won.
If Dolph Ziggler can win the NXT championship a year ago, then the New Day can win the tag team titles.
Let's come back to that. Let's shelf that for just a couple segments. Isla Dawn versus Thea Hale. Isla Dawn's NXT debut. Alba Fire came out at the end and tried to beat shit out of her. Alba Fire is one that you could reasonably say should be a champion right now. But you also could reasonably say, if you're not going to make her champion, just call her up.
Yes. Also.
So I feel like she's like the big one for me. But Isla Dawn, I thought, did awesome. And I thought Thea Hale, also fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was a good way to do both of them the way they did, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I thought
once Thea Hale dials down a little bit, she'll be something special.
Isla Dawn's presentation when she came out was dope. It was so cool.
Yes.
She's really, really good. Like, I enjoy the shit out of her.
Yep. And we even got a video from Lyra Valkyra
Yes.
that she'll be debuting next week. She's fucking awesome too. So,
except everybody else on the fucking IWC who had to have a stroke that's like, it sounds too close to Taya Valkyrie. Like,
Yeah, that was Gail Kim. Gail Kim made a big deal because her name sounds too much like Taya Valkyrie.
oh my God.
yeah, I just laughed. I saw that on there too. People were like freaking out. I was just like, okay, like I get it, but also that's probably not my fight, you know. Also, I think that you have a better argument that Sarah Logan took too much of the Maxton Paler's look than you have that Effie Valkyrie changed the pronunciation of her last name and got herself a new first name.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have a lot harder of an argument there because also, I don't know if you ever heard us when we were reviewing NXT UK. We had a fucking hell of a time with her name all the time. Aofi, Effie, Afi, Iufi. It had fucking 6 vowels and 1 consonant. I don't know what to do with this.
It's Aoife. Aoife.
Could have been Aoife, maybe. I don't know, man.
That's what it was. That's what it is. It's Aoife.
Is it Aoife or Effa?
No, Aoife.
Dude. Started with an A.
Well, the A was silent.
Every
Aoife.
fucking vowel in her name.
I don't care. I like the name. I like
Yeah,
the
I
new
like
name. It's awesome.
Like it.
I just like her. She's awesome too.
I do like their incorporation of TikTok in NXT. And what I mean by that is they did this whole segment where you show Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs in a scuffle in the backstage because two of the women were back there trying to film a TikTok. And then you also have Kaden and Katana who constantly do TikTok stuff and then do their TikTok dances out there. I do like that edge that they're trying to. I don't know if it's successful or not because I'm too old to know, but they're trying to make it a little more relatable to a younger audience as well. And it may be doing that. I have no idea. I'm too old to know if it's connecting with children.
I don't know, but it's not that bad of a person.
I think it's a nice, different way to present that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That
It's a
feels
nice
fresh.
addition, but I also felt like it was really, it just felt kind of random because it was like, okay, here's Sol Ruka and I think it was Amari Miller doing some dancing, and then all of a sudden in the background, Brooks and Briggs are fighting with Idris and Malik.
Yes.
They didn't even give a reason why. They were just like, "We're angry at you. Why? I don't know. We're just
I think they could have done a better job teeing that up on commentary. Where earlier that we got this footage from a couple of the women in the back where we're putting together a social media clip, and while they were recording it, they caught something a little bit extra, and we got the footage here. So you're gonna see them doing their social media thing, and it will turn into something. Watch closely in the back. You know what I mean? And then if they teed it up in a way where it's all like, look, you're gonna see these two women dancing for no reason, but if they gave the pre-reason, preason, I call it.
The preason. Nice.
But we did end up with Jensen and Briggs in a match against Malik and Idris, which I thought was pretty decent. I do wonder if you have the New Day win against Pretty Deadly, they are trying to repackage, it seems, and give a serious edge to Malik and Idris. And I bet you the four of them could have a fucking killer match.
Oh, without a doubt.
That'd be awesome. Like, I'm liking the progression of Malik and Idris right now.
Yeah.
Those two, it's weird, the whole thing of the whole, like, oh, we're going to make Malik all fired up because his sweater got torn. But other than that, like,
it was his father's sweater.
It's still random as hell. Like, it's just like,
it's his
yeah,
dad's
now
sweater, dude.
My dad's sweater got torn. I'm so fucking angry. Like, it's just random as hell. But it's like, progression's coming along good. They're connecting very well together in ring wise. So
yeah, there could be something there. Indy won against Fallon and Wendy Chu in the triple threat, which is who I thought was going to win. They're definitely doing a good job making Indy seem more serious. I like that so much of Indy's stuff is like classic old school. Her finishers are all just old school finishes where it's so like pile driver over, you know what I mean? DDT done. Like, it's kind of like the anti-flashy, you know what I mean?
I don't mind that her finishers aren't flashy. I just wish that her finisher wasn't as boring as Karrion Kross's crosshammer.
I hate that finisher so much. I'm sorry.
Crosshammer?
Yeah. She won on Tuesday with just the elbow to the back of the head.
Oh, yeah.
Or the forearm to the back of the head.
And that's just Karrion Kross's finisher as well. And I hate that fucking move with a passion. It is so dumb.
Kross's finisher is Cuddle Puddle. He big spoons the guy. Yeah. He big spoons a guy in a big cuddly mess and then just holds on to him tightly until after the bell rings and he whispers in his ear. Yeah, he's holding his own ear to whisper more effectively. He'll grab a microphone.
Is that how that
lullabies
works?
And stuff? Yeah.
Does it really enhance the whispering if you cover your own ear?
Yeah, if you cover your own ear, you can whisper better and then talk loudly into a microphone.
Okay, I'm gonna remember that one now.
Yep, but you're gonna need to. Yeah, that's the technique. But yeah, every time I see at this point, because Kross has just been sitting there holding dudes for so long, I was like, "This is a fucking cuddle puddle, buddy. Like, this is do it." Spinner Fox is here. He says, "Indy finally, she needs to win it all. Damn it." She's one I could see them put the title on her and leave her in NXT for a year and get better. You know what I mean? Like, she's one I don't think she's ready for the main roster. I just don't.
But she's like Cameron Grimes. They've both been in NXT for so long. By now, like,
it doesn't make you ready by default. I mean, Dawkins was in NXT for 7 years, and he's still not very good. So it's like, just because you're there for a long time doesn't mean that you are ready to move on.
Wait, you don't think Dawkins is good?
No,
Wait,
it's because I
what?
watch him.
Wow. I like
dude-
Angelo Dawkins.
He's so loud and obnoxious to begin with, and then his
That's
moves
his
are
whole
literally
problem,
shit
though.
that my buddy used to do. Kevlar used to do on the trampoline. The jumping with the spin, where he gets no height and no spin. So he might as well
He's
just do a cross body on a dude. He also looks
But he's gotten
gassy.
so much better, though, in the ring, though.
He has gotten a lot better. That's how bad he was. He's so
Yeah, he
bad that
was.
he's so much better and still not very good.
Wow. How can you be both? How can you be not that good, but really good at the same time?
No, so much better. That means you're just starting in such a
Shit.
terrible deficit that even when you're at 100%, you've just now hit zero because you were minus so much. The dude was in a deficit of charisma and talent.
It's like a weird math question right now where it's just like,
Yeah, he's basically in the negatives, and now he's at like 0.
Yes. Yeah. So
Wow.
now he's about where you would expect someone to be if they were just learning.
oh, wow.
That one's going to lose us some followers. It's all right, though. Spinner Fox says, no, I'm not saying move her to the main roster. Yeah, I think with India, I don't think she's ready for the main roster. I think she's getting a lot better. I think she's really honing in something that's identifying outside of the way. And I feel like she could do a lot with the women's championship, but I don't think she's ready for the main roster. I see a lot of people calling for it, and I think that, hey, you leave her there for a longer. Even if it's not a full year, even if it's like 6 months to really hone what she's doing, I think that she could be one to take it off of Mandy. Although after that promo they cut made me think maybe she's not.
I feel like she'd be easily lost on the main roster.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, before this, she was easily lost, too.
Yeah, for a while in NXT, she was just sort of there.
There's no while. She was really lost. She was just there.
Yeah.
They were using her as feed her to everybody else.
Yep. And then the end of the show, Grayson Waller effect. This to me just felt like it went on too long. Like I was into it for a while, and then after a while I was like, okay, we're still doing this.
Yeah.
But I think everyone did a good job. I just think that they had too much time to kill.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know? Because I don't think that anybody was bad. I don't think anyone delivered anything poorly. I don't think that anyone seemed out of place. I thought that everyone did a great job with what they had, but they just had what they also had was way too much time. Because the point was we got the point across pretty quick, and then we were just in a static thing until we had the big melee, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think the funniest part about it is like all 5 of the people in the match had like different like talking styles. Like Carmelo was the super cocky and super confident about himself winning the match, and Grayson Waller is just Grayson Waller. And then you have JD McDonough that's just like he's like, oh, in a match like this, a lot of injuries can happen. And then you have Joe Gacy saying a lot of big words. And then you have Axum, who's actually being the smart one, like, hey, nobody's been in this match before. This is the first time ever. So we don't know. None of us know what to expect of this match. And I just thought that the 5 different contrasts between their characters was actually done really well.
Except for that ending spot with the huge dive where Grayson hits the huge dive and everybody just gets immediately up. Like, what the hell? Awkward as hell.
They also all have different accents, which I thought was kind of funny. You had 5 guys in there literally grew up in different parts of the world. So they all had distinctly different accents.
Yeah. Yeah, we got what? Irish, Australian, Spanish.
And then
Gacy's got the woke liberal accent. And then
the woke liberal accent.
Yeah. And then Mello's got flavor, as they say.
Flavor.
Shouts to Joe Gacy for getting Schism over, though. Like,
Insane.
that shit is awesome. I love it.
Remember
I love it.
Gacy's debut when they said that this character is so awful that they've already turned around and they've removed everything from it and they're backtracking and they'll never do anything like that again?
Yes.
And then
Now
he
it's
went,
just,
"Oh, how about I just get it over instead?" And they're like, "Sure, do that then."
yep. And it worked very
It
well.
worked so well. It's so fucking funny. I love the dirt sheets who get all sensitive. Starbucks says Indy's going to be the yin to Rhea's yang. She's so tall, powerful, but the light side of the dark side of Rhea. Maybe that seems to me like a couple years down the road before we get to that.
Interesting.
That feels like a in 5 years thing to me.
Yes.
You know, because they also both got time. Build it. Make Indy a super good guy and Rhea just a more and more bad guy.
God, she's killing it too.
Yeah, she's awesome. They also had just sprinkled in NXT a bunch of vignettes and such of all the different people in the different matches and what it means to them. You had the vignette with Braun Breaker and Apollo Crews. I actually think I liked all of the vignettes this time around, except probably the Scripps one. The Scripps one, I was all like, okay, stop. Because even I think I would have liked it had I not known and had they not had footage of what he looks like. Like the fucking mask is so goofy. As soon as they showed him doing a thing, I was like, they're hanging on to it.
It's Willow mask. But
That's
orange.
Awful.
Roxanne's was probably my favorite one. That whole like
Talking
in the mirror, that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was dope. You want to talk some AEW?
Let's do it.
It opened up with the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal, and the first music we hear, the first thing that we see as the show starts, besides Excalibur saying, "You know what that means." I miss JR, man. I feel bad that he's not there. It was Ricky Starks, man. They opened the show with Ricky.
Missed this completely because TBS and TNT was on a fucking glitch. They were stuck on Big Bang Theory that was playing on beforehand, and it did not fix itself. So I had to rush to try to find a fucking stream of it. And by the time I freaking got to it, match was like right in the middle of it. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
So you didn't get to see the entrance?
No.
I'm sure it was awful.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was god awful. Pretty sure they booed Ricky out of the building. Like, my God.
It was cool. I mean, it was so him and Jungle Boy were the only two people who got entrances at all.
That doesn't.
Which was really interesting because in contrast, I was all like, "Oh, that's cool. They're opening up with Ricky," and then I hear Jungle Boy do his thing, and I went, "Ah, fuck this."
Yeah, I was very questionable about Ricky at first. I was like, why? I'm like, he's already got a world title match. Why is he in the battle royal? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so
Now here's the deal with the Diamond Battle Royal. This is where a lot of the stuff, a lot of how we got here fell apart, but getting there was great, right? So hold on, let's see real quick in Spanner Fox. Please know the show was bad. The only match was Joe versus Darby. Regal's goodbye was sad. You know EW won't be around for long. Match that was good. And he says it's dumb. The diamond ring needs to go away. Maxi Pad is going to not lose it.
I just realized they gave it away that it was going to be Ricky, if you think about it. Because they literally said the winner of the Dynamite Diamond Ring gets to face MJF whenever. So it kind of gave it away that it was going to end up being Ricky.
Well, it made me think that it shouldn't be Ricky because Ricky's in that tournament.
That too.
And didn't he win it? Or are we still going to have that match against Ethan
Yes,
Page?
that's literally next week. No, that's already happened. Ricky won the tournament.
He won the tournament. So he won the tournament to get a shot at MJF and then enter the Battle Royal to also get a shot at MJF.
Yeah.
Yes.
The match next week at Winter is Coming is now for the title and the ring.
Yes, which is stupid.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like here's the part to that is sad to me. It's next week. MJF versus Starks. The winner gets the ring and the world championship. Do we truly believe that they're going to give MJF, after giving him a customized, albeit shittily done and poorly made PWT's iron-on Burberry piece of shit belt that doesn't even look tacky like they went for? It just looks poorly made. We really think they're going to go through all that and then have Ricky take it in a week?
No, there is no way they're giving it to Ricky. It was obvious they weren't going to give it to Ricky.
And here's the other deal. Spinner Fox asked this question. So Ricky is going to face MJF twice. It's so dumb and bad booking. That's just it. He's not. He wins two things to get one match. So what they did was they had avenues set up to get two different number one contenders to face MJF outside of the ranking system that already gives them a number one contender. They could have had 3 rivalries brewed out of this. And instead they said, let's give them both to one dude, get him out of the way, and then figure out what's next. Because we don't know. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this basically said they just wanted to get the ring out of the way because literally they said the winner can face MJF whenever. But this is literally just, we don't want to wait that long. Let's just get it over with. Give it to Ricky, and that way we could do 2 things in one and just swipe it off to the side.
Yeah. How do we get the ring back on MJF? Because the world champion wouldn't be in that match. And how do we get Ricky out of this equation? Like, that's what it feels like. And Spinner Fox says MJF is already overlooking Starks. He mentioned Bryan. We already know he's facing him at Revolution. He goes, they should have had Bryan win the Rumble and then beat him for the ring and then give him a title shot at Revolution. Something. You could even have Bryan win the Rumble and say he doesn't want that fucking ring. It's tacky and it's gaudy and it's not my style. You keep it. But I'll see you down the road. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then MJF keeps it like a heel would. You're damn right I'll keep it. You know what I mean? He's a bad guy. He doesn't need a reason to have it. You don't want it? Fine, I'll keep it. You're an idiot. I want it. So I'm keeping it. You're dumb. You could have sold it or something, moron. Like, you could just be a cocky, arrogant piece of shit like he's supposed to be and also keep the ring that way. But instead, they're going to fucking wipe Ricky's face in the mud. Here's the part that bothers me about it the most. After this match, MJF comes running out to say, basically, I'm not giving you the ring. You're going to have to face me for the ring and the title. And then Ricky Starks. I already tweeted about it, so I feel like that I've already given away the lead and you already know. He fucking destroyed MJF on the mic.
I want you to know this legitimately made MJF look incredibly like just he has one note and that's it.
Yes.
That's all it does.
This felt like exposing the Emperor has no clothes.
Yes. He literally said, Ricky literally said, he's like the low hanging fruit. And he's like, how much longer can you like use that?
Yeah, the forehand.
I was like, damn, I'm like, that is so fucking true. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm just going, holy fuck, like MJF really is just that one note and that's it. There's nothing else to him. He says the same shit of, oh, I'm going to take digs at the crowd. Oh, I'm going to take digs at your state. Oh, I'm going to take digs at your team. Like,
Splinter Fox says MJF is reading too much IWC and using it in his promos now. Also, I'm not saying Ricky Starks is a drinking buddy because I doubt it, but he said everything I've been saying about MJF for the past 2 months. Everything I've been saying about him. He laid it out much better. I'm not a professional talker. I'm a drunk on YouTube.
MJF must be listening to you, Splinter Fox. When he called him Young Rock, I was like Baby Rock. I went, holy fuck, he's listening to fucking Splinter Fox over here.
Get it right, it's the Pebble.
Yeah, he called him Pebble, just like Splinter Fox been calling him Baby Rock and Pebble.
I laughed at that. I'm not gonna lie.
That's what I'm saying. This promo felt like we wrote it.
Let's go. MJF listens to the show. Let's go.
Splinter Fox says MJF said what I've been talking about for weeks. Dollar Store Rock. That's what I mean. So a lot of it was like, to me, it was really cool to see play out in a way where it's all like, we've been saying this. I've been saying this. This is crazy to see it laid out by Starks in a much better fashion. God, when he said I expected a fifth-rate Roddy Piper wannabe, whew, I was like, fuck yeah, dude, let's go. Like, there was
Called
so
it
much
wacky.
here where he just decimates MJF, and MJF has nothing to say. And it wasn't one of those like, I'm a bad guy, so I'm just gonna kick him in the balls. It was like, I know that Bishop will hate this, but to me, it was like that 8 Mile tossing the mic back. Now say something they don't already know. You know what I mean? Like, it
there we
wasn't
go.
so much that Ricky said all the things about himself. This was not that, right? It was that rap battle back and forth effectively, right? Our mainstream rap battle, but it was that throwing the mic back over and saying, now what do you have to say? And the person choking. It looked like MJF's choked. It didn't look like MJF was being dastardly. It looked like, fuck, I got to reevaluate this. What I also thought was amazing, and I can't tell if it was on purpose because their production is so bad, but after Ricky had mentioned how shitty the spray-on tan is that MJF has, the shot they cut over to MJF, you could see like the muddy buildup of the spray-on tan on his ear.
That's hilarious.
So fucking funny. I even saw like, or it was right before he said it or something, because it was one of those things where I was like, God, that fucking shitty tan. And then Ricky just rips into him about his shitty tan. I was like, you're goddamn right, Ricky. Fuck yeah. You should have seen this promo, producer lady. Ricky said everything I've been saying. He's probably a friend of the show.
Phenomenal.
MJF's been saying everything that Splinter Fox was saying, so probably friend of the show as well. So welcome AEW Elite to our dive bar here in the IWC. You're welcome. Join, have a seat next to Bruce Pritchard, also drinking buddy of the show.
The dive bar of the IWC is the real forbidden door, motherfuckers.
Fuck yeah, dude. But yeah, dude, this was so good. I said it before. I'm trying to remember who I said it to, because I believe it was on one of these episodes. So you guys would be able to tell me if you remember it happening or not. I believe I'd said somewhere that Ricky was a better promo than MJF. And the person told me that I was an idiot. And I said, all right, we'll see. I was like, he hasn't done it yet. I remember thinking that. But this was that week where, look, I'm excited about the potential back and forth. MJF has been one note for a long time, and now he's been called out on it. So now he's going to have to be better. I think he can be. I don't think that it's an absolute that Ricky will best MJF in every single promo battle, but I think this proves that he absolutely can and he's capable of. And there's every reason for me to believe that he can one up MJF every time because he's ready and hungry. And MJF may be in his own way hardworking and hungry, but I don't think he is the same way that Ricky is. MJF is the destined one. You know what I mean? He is the heir apparent and has been for quite some time. Even in MLW, it was, this guy is an absolute. There is the absolute of MJF. But Ricky has been calling himself the absolute because he's the one who has to tell you that he's willing to put all that forward to make it true. You know what I mean? And so this was his opportunity to do that, and he did not miss.
No, it was phenomenal. That whole slapping the mole off his neck and stomping an asshole in him. I'm like, fucking Ricky.
You smell like paint thinner and ass.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Fucking
So
wonderful.
good.
My God. I knew Rick. I always knew Ricky could talk, but just watching him absolutely decimate MJF was one of the most wonderful things I've seen.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. I've got the transcript right here too, because of both of them. Dollar Store Dwayne, he called them, which Spin Fox been saying. He goes, I'm gonna start calling you the Pebble, which Spin Fox had said. Here's coming next, the main event Dynamite. I'm gonna put you in my pocket, hop on my Porsche. I'm gonna drive by the nearest body of water, skip you along the way back to Billy Corgan's NWA where you belong, which is awesome.
Oh, why do you have to bring up NWA too? God damn it.
It was funny. But you could also tell, I couldn't tell if Starks was ultimately scripted or if he just knew what he wanted to say. Because there was a couple times the crowd interrupted him and he paused and got back to it. But you could tell because he started the line, he got back to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, and I love that one too. He goes, everything about you screams cheap. The cheap suit, the cheap shoes, the cheap heat. I was like, because we've been saying that about all this cheap heat, the same old you guys, you ugly hillbillies. Like it's not even clever. So yeah, all of it was just so good. I think that what I love too is that all of Twitter was saying Ricky just out talked. Ricky just out promoted MJF because MJF, according to Twitter, has been the promo god of quite some time. The devil, if you will. And here comes Ricky, who did a whole promo where everyone just... It was fun to listen to because the crowd does listen, where sometimes the WWE crowds don't listen.
Yeah.
He would say a line and and then he would say another line while they're, oh, like they fucking couldn't get their surprise out before the next stinger hit.
That whole "they're behind me
Starks,
for a reason" thing is fucking insane.
Ricky Starks talks like Muhammad Ali punches. That fast and that precise. You can't see them coming. You can't dodge a single one of them. But he also dodges the way that Ali did, where he can duck around 20 in 10 seconds and then shimmy in your face about it. He's something else. Let's see. Spinner Fox put up all of this. He goes, the bad boy Joey Janela tweeted about it today. He says, 20 hours ago. Oh, that was the copy paste. He goes, I watched Ricky Stark's segment with MJF and it was amazing. Brought me back to some golden attitude era shit. You let the match happen next week and afterwards let it marinate and simmer afterwards. You have a rivalry that could last more than a couple of years if done correctly. Yeah.
I've literally been saying this since they announced Ricky, after Ricky won the tournament. I go, it is predictable MJF is going to retain. But all you have to do is make Ricky look like he belongs to stay in that fucking category of being a world champion. That's all they need to do in this match, is make Ricky look like the star that he is and make him be like, he should stay in that world title picture, and you do not take him out of that picture.
Just writing down the title to our episode today.
Yep.
But I think that, yeah, you have everything you do to leave him in it. But at the same time, like Spinner Fox said, this is going to be their kicking Ricky down the road. This is kicking the can down the road a little bit. They're going to have him lose this match. And I think it sucks. I think that this showed more than anything that Ricky's ready for it now. Ricky's ready and deserves it and should have it. But they're not going to take it off Max right now. Dude, when he called the Maxi Pad right away, so fucking good.
That was wonderful. The crowd freaking, the eruption after the spear, where he spears Max out of his shoes. That crowd was fucking hot for that. Holy shit.
If you thought Drew McInfart was never going to stick, wait till you get a load of Maxi Pad. So good. Although I will say that The Rock and Becky calling Corbin a strong, tough, or super tough dude didn't last nearly as long as it could have. That was only like two or 3 months of crowd heat before it fizzled out, and that one should have stayed.
That wasn't really much, though. It didn't feel like even that long. It felt like it only lasted that night, and that was it.
I know. But I think Maxi Pad will stick because this crowd latches onto everything they can. Cerner Fox says, it's interesting that Joey commented on AEW. Could he be heading back, or is he just good buds with them both? I think he's very good buds with Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
I assume he's friends with MJF because everyone seems to be. But I do think that he was just super proud of his boy. Because that was it. That was one of those like, fuck yeah. Because I think that Joey and Ricky spent a lot of time in the back talking about when are they going to get their opportunity. And if they just got one chance, they just got that one opportunity to blow, you know, that 8 mile moment.
8 Mile. We're talking 8 Mile here all of a sudden. And then how fitting for that moment.
Yep. And then I guess more of the show happened, man. Like, This was such a high for me watching. I've watched that promo probably 6 times. I'm going to watch it more tonight.
I have to. Pretty much. It's phenomenal.
It's just one of those things where you hear all of it and you just go like, also MJF was saying stuff the camera was catching and going away. And I was trying to find out, because I think that MJF and CM Punk are friends. I was trying to find out if, what? Yeah, of course. Yeah, dude, those guys are fucking buddies. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, God.
CM Punk was laying waste to everyone he could in that thing and only talked glowingly about MJF in the way that MJF would want him to. Listen to that thing. He puts over MJF in everything he says. He's talking about how much he's an asshole and how he hates him and doesn't want to ever fight him, all this shit. But the tone changes when he talks about other people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's putting over MJF all the time. So I think they're fucking buddies. I was trying to figure out and wonder if we had a moment of Stark saying what he wanted to, regardless of what Max may have wanted him to. And if it was a moment of that going off script kind of thing with MJF not knowing really what to say or do about it. But I don't think so. I think that they actually work well together enough that I think they just both did a very good job there. I think it was awesome. And I think that what we saw here is Ricky is much taller than we thought. Yes. You put Ricky Starks with fucking Brian Cage and Will Hobbs so fucking much, we'd think he's Johnny Gargano. But he's not. You stand him up next to your world heavyweight champion and you go, oh shit, you got ourselves an Austin over here.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Other stuff happened. Moxley backstage. So they do this thing. Was this this wasn't the video, right? I'm just going to move around because there was a lot of shit I didn't care for. Moxley does this thing backstage. Was it, we'll go to the TNT Championship match. We'll find it. Samoa Joe, Darby Allin. What'd you think of that?
Awesome.
I thought it was a great match.
Talk about it because I don't remember any of it. I watched the show yesterday. I don't remember it even happening.
It was. I absolutely loved it. I think Joe with the TNT title is still a really interesting thing because I still question why they took it off of Wardlow, but then I was just like, yeah, Wardlow's momentum kind of got killed really quick. So you kind of got to just freshen it up, let Samoa Joe run with it. And he's doing the whole open challenge kind of thing, facing people, which is cool. Get the TNT title on TV some more. Darby's a good challenger, former TNT champion himself. Like, it was just all around an awesome match.
Samoa Joe's already having a better TNT title reign than Wardlow did, which is sad to say.
Wardlow just seemed to be kind of plummeting himself because he's, repeating himself over and over again. This is Wardlow's world. And I'm like, that's all he fucking says every week.
Yeah. I saw a cool meme someone posted about Samoa Joe and Darby, and it showed Darby just looking all fucked up and punched up. But I agree with what you had said about Samoa Joe is already like probably the most meaningful TNT champion they've had. Like in short order. Spin Fox does say this. Joe's getting ready to leave next. His best match in AEW so far would be funny if Joe's back in WWE when Twisted Metal show releases. I was wondering that too. I don't think that Samoa Joe will stay past his contract, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had a 3 or 5 year contract.
Yeah.
Again, we don't understand. It's only been like a year he's been there so far, I would say.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. So I feel like that I don't think he'll renew, but I don't think that I don't think his contract's coming up, but
unless they start doing some big things with him out of nowhere, I don't see him staying either.
And didn't Wardlow come running out here? Yeah, Wardlow sprinted to the ring.
Yeah, after freaking Darby gets killed on a muscle buster on his fucking skateboard, which had to suck so much.
On the wheels of his skateboard, too.
That had to hurt like a motherfucker.
That's also like really dangerous, especially with what happened to Tyson Kidd.
Yep.
The missile buster is just a scary move to take altogether. So I don't know why. And then you're dropping him on a fucking skateboard, which just makes it even worse.
Yeah, you just hope those guys are pros and know more than us, because it looks scary as fuck. But that's the point, right?
Yes.
The goal is to make it look scary and feel nothing, but yeah, it looks scary. Tony Schiavone backstage with Orange Cassidy and Kip Sabian. I didn't watch any of that. Was there anything there?
Not much to really talk about there.
It basically just came down to Orange Cassidy saying, "Hey Kip, you want a title shot? We'll fight on Rampage." And Kip was like, "I'll fight you when I want to, but I'm going to choose an opponent."
And then, of course, that got leaked as to who that was. So,
who's it going to be?
Trent Seven.
Trent Seven.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I was kind of surprised that they didn't hold on to him. With all the NXT people that they kept, he was fantastic. I was really surprised.
With Tyler Bate kind of just in the like nothing right now, having Mustache Mountain in the tag division would have been nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the only one that they kept so far, who they haven't re-debuted on NXT is Rampage Brown.
Huh. Yeah, I guess.
And Noam Dar.
Oh yeah, know him, but
yeah. Spinner Fox says he's calling it now. Pac, Joe, Black, Ruby, Swiss. Who's Swiss?
Cesaro or Claudio.
Claudio. Buddy, all one and done with contracts.
Maybe
I could see the argument for them. I don't know if I think all of them. I kind of don't know that Pac would come back. I feel like Pac's doing just fine. And I don't think that he had a particularly amazing time even in NXT. You know what I mean? Like Pac, I could see staying. Black, I could see staying because he's working with all of his buddies now.
Yeah.
And he might just like that more than potential heights that he could get, because I feel like that he's probably financially pretty secure.
Yeah.
Ruby, I could see her coming back. Claudio, I could see him coming back. But at the same time, yeah, I could see Claudio coming back because he always had aspirations of being a world champ. And I think that he might think he could do it with Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy that's a bit of a wild card too.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see. Speaking of all of them, though, Daniel Garcia and Jake Hager against Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. You can guess that I saw none of that.
Didn't miss much.
Yeah, you're really.
My interest in that whole entire feud is fucking rock bottom. I am over this Jericho freaking Appreciation Society. I'm now just calling them Combat Club because there is no Blackpool anymore. It is just Combat Club. Yeah.
When I hear the Jericho Appreciation Society music, I just turn the volume down and kind of walk away.
And then, like I said, my interest in it is now still rock bottom because of the freaking ROH title match happening on fucking Final Battle. I hate that match so much.
Yeah. Let's see. We did get the sit down. This sit down with Jamie Hayter and Tony Schiavone was so weird. Like, Jamie did a great job and Tony did just fine, but you could clearly tell that they have no fucking clue what they want to do with her.
Yeah. Definitely not.
Because she was like annoyed for no reason, wanted to be asked a question they clearly knew they were going to sit down and ask about. She supposedly demanded this. Tony just said, "What are your thoughts about the division?" Like, he didn't have a fucking question for the champion. So then she gives a non-answer and says that there's some random match on Rampage between Sheeta and the Bunny, and whoever wins it can wrestle her if they want. What the fuck is that? That's not really a challenge.
I mean, we know what they're saving her for at this point, and it's like, you're not going to jump the gun on that already.
They have no idea what they're doing with her, and it was so obvious in this, despite both of them doing the best that they could. This really felt like they sat down for like 20 minutes and been like, "Look, they just said we had to do this, and I don't know what they want us to do." And then she's like, "Is there a match on the other side?" Kind of. Like, this felt so directionless, but with so much effort. And I feel like that all came from Tony and Jamie. So I don't want to discredit them at all, because I actually thought Jamie was fantastic here. Just clearly had no direction, and so everything she said made no sense in context. Not that she was speaking in jumbled, but contextually you go, all right, that doesn't mean anything. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of been 2 segments with her now that's kind of flopped. You got Britt overshadowing her the first time, and now you got this just kind of.
Well, because they don't know what they're doing with her.
Like I said, I think they have the one thing they want to do with her, but they ain't jumping the gun with it yet. They're not going to immediately go. They know that we know we're going to get Britt and Jamie for the fucking title, but there ain't no way they're going to just jump into that immediately. They're going to drag it out as humanly possible, but they ain't got nothing to fill in those gaps before that. So
yeah, for a company that all their fans want to swear up and down is based around long-term storytelling, he has no plans whatsoever with Jamie, and it's evident. So at this point, the story has not begun yet. Because like you said, the only story they have is her and Britt, and they're not doing it. So it's static. This is a pause on the story because he doesn't know what the fuck to do. Swinner Fox does say Blackpool is done. Swiss is going to lose and join JSA. Oh, that's not true. And he also says, this is why Tony don't care for the women's division. Once Thunder got injured, he didn't have any plan B for anybody. I really think Jade would have not been champion right now if Chris Statlander didn't get injured. I think that's very possible too. I think he just kind of says, fuck it, whatever. Like, what do you guys want to do? Like, it feels so phoned in for the women. Even the trios match, Jade Cargill and the Baddies, Red Velvet and Layla Gray versus Kira Hogan, Madison Rayne, and Sky Blue. We don't even understand why Kira Hogan was kicked out of that group, but she was, and now she's leading this other group, and we don't know why they're together. So I didn't watch this match.
They basically kicked Kira out. They basically kicked Kira out because she didn't show up for the fucking Bow Wow thing at first, and that was fucking stupid. I don't give. Yeah, basically, that's really all it is.
It's just weird because you have Jade Cargill and effectively 5 jobbers in a segment, so I didn't watch because I was like, I don't need to see a bunch of jobbers and Jade Cargill out here. It doesn't mean anything, and Jade's team's going to win.
It was not worth watching. I hated every second watching it. It was just so uninteresting because all it is more Bow Wow freaking Jade stuff, and they didn't even do anything with that whole thing in the first place. Like, I'm still sold at this point that Jade is just going to fucking hand over the title. Just so they can keep her undefeated, she's just going to hand over the title and go, I don't need this anymore. I'm going for bigger things, and that's literally going to be it.
It feels like it. We missed something before the Tony sit down. The Regal thing. Because I did want to talk about this. This was the other big deal. Regal. This segment itself, to me, was embarrassing.
Yes.
Because this felt like, well, we jumped the gun and I forgot to provide context and answers. So let's retcon answers in a scenario that wouldn't really have happened that also doesn't fix the timeline. So basically the thought was Regal turns on the Blackpool Combat Club and then MJF turns on Regal. So 2 weeks before turning on the Combat Club, 2 weeks before being turned on by MJF, so a week before he turns on the Combat Club, he cuts a promo with Tony Schiavone just in case if something were to happen to him. In which he says, the reason I did what I did was to lead by example and teach you the final thing. Always stay one step ahead and keep your eyes in the back of your head. Which also undoes everything he taught, because that's exactly not what happened at all. It shows that he is wrong on that. He goes on Blackpool Combat until the day I die, fellas. It's been emotional. This was supposedly recorded 2 weeks ago. Then he gets punched in the back of the head. So if he hadn't gotten turned on, this wouldn't have aired. You know what I mean? Like, this was such an embarrassing retcon that it was pointless, and I think that it would have been much better to just write him off and even have Moxley say, look, he learned his lesson. He got what was coming to his. I am grateful for what we did, but he's an asshole for turning on me, and I don't feel bad for what happened, and I'm ready to move on. And if they just left it at that, that's fine.
Wait,
What
that
do you mean?
was recorded 2 weeks ago. So that was literally recorded the day that Moxley told him to get the fuck out and just keep walking. That
Yeah.
is so stupid. They fucked this whole thing up. MJF's fucking beginning half of his championship reign has been foobarred by bullshit right now. You now have fucking you go off from MJF coming out to confront Regal to bring up the fucking email that says, "Hey, I'm going to prove you wrong that I am really that good and you freaking made the mistake for not like picking me up when you had the opportunity." For that it to turn into MJF versus the Firm with the freaking sticking it to Regal being put to the side. Then you have Regal turn on Blackpool Combat Club with absolutely no signs of any kind of reason for him to turn whatsoever, just so MJF turns on him 2 weeks later. Like, what a fucking jumbled mess.
Yeah, this
And
made the
now it's
situation
just,
worse, not better.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm Blackpool Combat Club still. That doesn't explain why you turned on Moxley at all. Nothing. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
And I think the funniest part out of all this is people's reaction on social media. They're like, they have this predetermined thought in their brain that since Regal said to always keep their eyes in the back of their head, that there's some sort of traitor in the Blackpool Combat Club. And they're like, I saw somebody was like, well, 3 out of the 4 were in the ring last night. So I wonder which one is the traitor, suggesting that Brian is the traitor. And I'm like, where is any of this even coming from?
I mean, it would also work to be Brian just because Brian's the one who's the most obsessed with Regal. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing is that he's Regal's dude and the other guys just happen to be there. But at the same time, this muddied all that up in such a way that none of that fucking matters. And then Mox as an open challenge for Friday. It made the situation much worse when all you had to do was say, fuck him, he's gone, he got what he had coming to him for turning on us. But apart from just this jumbled, embarrassing mess of Tony trying to fix his sloppy, rushed booking, some of that's not his fault. Some of it is that he's been working. Well, I mean, it's all his fault because he's been working with Regal, we know now, since October. So he's had 2 months to sort this out. He's been working with Regal since October about not renewing his contract. And he talked about it on the ROH media call. Sunfuck has a weird verbiage thing. He said to teach Moxley a final lesson to be 2 steps ahead and to have an eye behind your back. It was dumb. And side note, Brian has never entered from the face entrance. Oh, he's always entered from the heel entrance.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, he's been coming out that way, but still, like,
either way,
this whole thing was just really poorly executed, really dumb. And like, if you were literally gonna write Regal off, you should have just had MJF beat him up after he won the world title. The night he won the world title,
because Moxley got turned on. You know what I mean? Like, you cost Moxley the thing. Moxley will never get his revenge. And then MJF also punks out the dude that Moxley didn't get his revenge on. So it was just
they should just left it at the night when Moxley said, just go and don't come back, and left it at that. Yep. That was it.
That's all you need. And it would have been fine. So it's all muddled. But what we do know is that Regal told him in October he didn't want to renew his contract. He wanted to go back to WWE and coach his son, Jack Dempsey, and be over there helping train. So I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this because most of the IWC has stated multiple times, many times, that the WWE having a fully paid 90-day non-compete when they terminate contracts is evil and wicked and ruins careers because people aren't going to be on TV. But Tony adding a stipulation to his release of the contract that Regal is not allowed to appear on TV for a full calendar year is Tony being a really good guy and caring for him and trying to help Regal be with his family. I'm just trying to understand the same mouths using these two mentalities, because I do agree that 90 days is a little while to be off TV. You can definitely cool your heat. As we see with Sasha Banks, it doesn't have to cool you off. It's about how you use those 90 days, or even more so. It's also 3 months paid to allow you to set up what your next move is going to be, so you don't have 3 months unpaid. Renee, by the way, was paid for a full year, not 90 days, which we know. But this is, not only are you not paid by us, you're not working for us, but you're not allowed on TV for a full year because Tony's trying to pull a power play. But people are trying to say that it's him being a generous guy. And how much of us really believe that Triple H was chomping at the bit to get Regal back on TV and not to get him in the backstage anyways?
Yeah.
It's a stupid power play.
The 90-day thing would have been better than a 1 year fucking wait. At least then he would have still been able to be on TV with his son and not fucking have to sit there and be like, well, now I just gotta fucking sit there and watch the clock until it's time for me to finally be able to be on the TV with my son. Like,
I don't think he gives a shit. I think he just wants to go there and coach him and train him and be backstage with him anyways and help him out. And I think he wants to do what he was doing before, which was largely off screen.
Yeah, that's mainly a couple things. Yeah, that's mainly his focus then. If he just wants to just go back there, be with his son and get him going and doesn't involve him being on TV, then so fucking be it. That's fine. Then he doesn't have to worry about the damn contract because he's not on TV. I think he's literally just said you can't be on TV for a year. What does it mean? What if he does again? What if he doesn't want to be on TV? Then if he doesn't, let him do his backstage thing, and there we go.
He doesn't care, I don't believe, but also it's petty as fuck for Tony to say a year.
Yeah, that's bull.
You know what I mean? Because his reason was that he wanted to sell the injury of MJF hitting him. You're telling me any single person who's ever been portrayed in any form of combat sport would get punched one time and be out for a year?
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, that's bull. It should have been either 90 days or it should have been anywhere from 30 to like 90 days, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And it's also a little ridiculous because it's like, does Tony Khan really think that William Regal, if he was in a on-screen capacity, would make that much of a difference to WWE television? Like, let's say if Triple H did bring him in as an on-screen character, as like an authority figure, like Raw and SmackDown general manager. Does Tony Khan really think that Raw and SmackDown's ratings are going to go from like 1.5/2 that they are now to like 4.5, 5, just because William Regal pops up on TV? No, I don't think they're going to pop. I don't even think they might go up like a couple 100,000, but it's not like it's going to be some drastic change because William Regal pops his face up on WWE TV. That's just not how it works.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's just him trying to take away something from the fans because he's being petty in this thing, which is also fine because I'm here for the pettiness. But you got to call it when you see it. That's a petty move. Yeah. He's being petty. He's trying to flex strength. He's trying to say that I'm a contender. You have to take me seriously. What I think would be funny is if they put him on TV anyways and just said, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do?
Imagine.
Yeah.
That'd be hysterical.
Have William Regal, the first thing he says on TV, be like, well, my head's a little sore, but I'm glad to be back.
I would die. That'd be hysterical, actually.
It'd be so good.
I came back with a wicked headache, but happy to be back. Like,
I felt like I got blasted in the back of the head with something, but here I am.
Yeah, turns out it was just a soppy sponge of fake tanner. I'll be fine.
God, that'd be so weird. Because what if they put him back at NXT as like the GM, and he's in his office and he's got his brass knuck thing, but his knucks aren't there. He just goes, "I left him in Florida somewhere." Like,
No, he's got his brass knuckles, and they just got stains of tanner on the knuckle part.
They fucking have him behind the table, but he just like rolls out on a wheelchair from behind it. It's like, I'm still on a hit. What did you want? Oh man. But yeah, I think that I don't think you can complain about WWE's 90-day non-compete and also say that Tony is just being a gem of a human here by telling him he's got a year. I don't think that Tony's being a bad guy necessarily. He's just being a very petty guy and trying to assert an alphaness where there isn't one. So he's just coming off like a little barking dog. He also, I think the other thing shit, what was the other thing? Just take a drink. Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. Take a drink.
The other thing that Tony was complaining about was that Triple H showing Regal on the War Games thing, the supercut. In there, he was saying, like, I just think that I'm being so accommodating, and I didn't think that that was very, very much in the nature of being with as accommodating as we've been. And he rattled on a bunch, but his whole thing was that he felt slighted by Triple H posting a video supercut of Regal screaming War Games on the day of War Games, saying it's not the same without him, as a personal dig to Tony Khan, who was, in his mind, being super accommodating by not renewing a guy's contract, but instead issuing up and drafting a secondary contract that states he can't be utilized in TV for him to go back and be with his son, which also he was trying to say, and this is, I believe, to be true. His mother apparently had a couple of strokes. And so he said he's been spending a lot of time with his family. And so he felt like in the nature of family, that's why he wanted to do this, which I think is a really shitty way of trying to justify what you're doing and paint yourself as a good guy when you're doing something so stupid and petty, to say, I'm making him stay off TV for a year, but don't feel bad about it because I'm doing it because of his kid, because my mom just had a stroke. Like, fuck you, dude. Quit talking out of both sides of your mouth. Like, I get it. It's shitty. You're dealing with a lot of stuff, but everything you're doing with Regal's contract has nothing to do with your mom. Letting him out of his contract, maybe, but then trying to double down and assert some sort of alpha on top of it, this year-long thing, which again, I don't care if I don't see Regal on TV for a year. I'm happy he's on the backstage doing everything he's going to do for the company like he was doing before. I don't think most people do care. But I do think that he cares because he's being petty and shitty and trying to paint himself out to be a really good guy when he's just another billionaire asshole like all the rest of them. And people need to take off their rose-colored sunglasses when it comes to all of these billionaires. You know what I mean? They're all doing their own self-interest all of the time. And we want to pretend they've got these big hearts and doing these massive things when every time they do a great thing or a nice thing for someone, they say, did you guys see I did that? Did you see I did it? He literally said that no one thanked him, that NWA didn't thank him enough for helping with some of the talent and empower. And that how would you feel if you paid someone's dinner and they didn't say thank you to your face? Fuck you, you billionaire asshole. Sometimes you just buy your friends dinner and say, don't worry about it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He was
just
helping
another billionaire.
He was helping a company that's kind of been, just there. It's like, I sent talent over there. That's enough fucking, hey, thanks for that kind of shit. And you're just like, hey, he didn't thank me. What the fuck? Like,
yeah.
It
was stupid. Bitch. And they did thank him, and they mentioned him several times. And so it just wasn't enough. It wasn't as much thanks as he thought he deserved. And that's all I'm saying is that he found a way to release, to allow William Regal to not renew his contract, found a way to put him under his thumb for another year, and then tried to figure out a way where he could paint himself as the good guy and garner sympathy to others so he wouldn't face criticism for what he's doing by bringing his ill mother into the story. Leave her out of this, dude. If you're being a dick in a contract, don't try and say, hey, yeah, but my mom's sick. Fuck off, dude. Leave her out of it. Like, I feel bad for his mom, whatever. He's using her. And people trying to pretend that he's not is ridiculous. Spinner Fox says, yeah, you don't need to thank you back if it's genuine. And he goes, I wonder if Joe or anybody else goes back to WWE does the same thing. I wonder that too. Does somebody else ask for their release or say, I don't want to be renewed? And he goes, all right, but you can't be on TV for a year. You know what I mean? Like, who else is going to be cool with that?
That is such a shit move.
He's just being a dick, and I'm going to call him a dick when I see it, because I thought it was kind of gross when I heard the clip and saw all the comments being like, see, he's just a really good guy. Oh, man, he's got such a big heart. Thoughts and prayers to him and his family. Such a good thing he's allowing Regal to be with his son. And I was like, you guys are eating his bullshit. He's being a dick, but it's also fine because Regal's Regal's not getting nothing. He is going to be spending time with his son. He is going to be back into WWE. He is going to be incredibly useful. And all you did was put a slight handicap on the situation. Spinner Fox says they have been brainwashed. I call bullshit on all wrestling. And he does. He calls bullshit on me all the time. But yeah, that Tony Khan thing fucking annoyed me, so I just wanted to mention
bullshit.
that.
Hands down bullshit.
At the same time, I'm glad Regal's coming back just because I'm also petty and I like him more for my company.
Yes.
I wonder if Regal had more influence and power in AEW, if that wouldn't have been the case. If he would have told his son, hey, when your contract is up there, come here. And I wonder if Tony running the company the way that he does and Regal having largely no influence, if he goes, no, I can help my son more in WWE than I can if I bring him to AEW.
What was the reason why, though, Regal wanted to leave mainly? There was the whole,
because he felt that people in the back, not all, he said some people in the back just aren't taking veterans, insight. They're not taking what veterans say, and they think that they have this big time contract that they don't have anything to learn.
Wow, it's almost like a certain somebody was right about a bunch of kids in the background.
Could be.
Might be the only props to give that freaking guy.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think the difference between if I'm sitting there and I've got William Regal and CM Punk both sitting at two different tables, and they said you can get as much advice as you want from one person on this table, I'm going to Regal because I think just because you've been there and just because you're a veteran doesn't mean by default that you're knowledgeable. You need a lot more than just I've been working for a long time. Regal has shown a massive knowledge outside of himself. Punk never has. Punk's only shown that he believes he knows what's best for himself all the time. That doesn't equate to I know what's best for anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Spinner Fox says he bets people leave just to be back to Regal. There's an ongoing thing they don't want to learn. Yep, we've been hearing it since JR got there. JR was saying it on his podcast, like when he first got there, that people do not listen to him. I'm taking my chair to Regal's table for sure and throwing the other dude the bird if I do it.
Yep.
Yeah. But let's see. Let's go ahead. That was the other thing in there. Did we talk about Saraya and Britt Baker?
Not yet.
No.
What do you guys think of this?
I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't expect this feud to go on past just the first match. I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't. I thought it was just going to be a one and done. Have Saraya get the ring rust knocked off her and get her on her way. But I didn't. I guess we're going farther with this now.
Yeah, now we're going tag match, which is in January, for God's sake.
I can't understand how people see Britt Baker every week and talk about how she's such a great talker. She came off so stupid here. And
yes,
she sounded also scripted, but also unsure of herself. And this whole I bought you tickets to the show that you're booked on, and you can sit in the back or be in the ring. And then Saraya takes the tickets and then goes, "Oh, I'll face you." And she goes, "Psych, I want a tag match." And it's like, what the fuck? And it's a month out. You have a month to book this match. And you did all of that in one segment. This could have been an ongoing petty thing for the next couple of weeks. This could have been like, and she even said, Jamie Hayter is always by my side, except right now because she's not.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of shitty nonsense that seemed like a lot. It seemed like 4 weeks worth of content crammed into 30 seconds, and it came off terrible. And I want to see it less than I wanted when I got into it.
Yeah.
But I guess we get a tag match.
They started this way too early than it needed to, especially if the match is until January. Then they could have done this 4 weeks from now.
Yeah. Spinner Fox does say, I wonder how. See, I told you. He types like how will be her partner. I won't be Chris. See, I'm telling you about him. She has at least 3 months to be fully healed. So I was going to ask you guys about this. Theoretically, let's go back down the old Sasha Banks train. I know Spinner Fox has been in there lately saying that he thinks that we could get Kari and Sasha and stuff. And we already talked about that, so that's why I didn't reread it. But I could see a world where Sasha Banks signs, if she's out of a contract, because as of right now, we've never heard from WWE that she's not under contract. She's still on the roster page. The only reason we believe as a community that she's not under contract is because Raj Giri tweeted it out one time. No one else has ever confirmed it. No one else has ever said that they believe that to be the case. It's just that Raj said it. He believes his source. And we as a community trust Raj, generally speaking. He's been doing it since like 92. And he's very rarely said that he believes something to be fact, and we found out it was definitely not, right? So with that in mind, not to undermine Raj, it's been all this time, and he's still the only voice who's ever said it.
Yep.
If she is out of contract, I could see a world where she signs a short-term contract with NJPW or AEW and does a 3-month program or a 6-month program there, does a teaming with Saraya because of their history, obviously, turns her back on Saraya because that's what she does. She turns her back on people. And then they can have a match where Saraya wins and she gets her one up and they hug and, oh, look at, you're healed. I didn't break your neck. And then I could see her walking right into Hunter's office and being like, so you ready to sign the bottom line yet? Or the price isn't going to change on my side. You know what I mean? Like, I can see her using NJPW and AEW to leverage that I can go wherever I want. I can do whatever I want. If you guys want me, you have to prove it. You know what I mean? At the same time, Raj is the only one who's ever said she's not under contract. And I fully believe that Triple H is very open to her doing some stuff in Japan before popping up at, say, a Rumble, you know? I don't believe that Triple H would say, also go run a program with Paige and AEW. So
it's tough. Like, if she doesn't have a contract, I could just see it being a deal where like she doesn't have to sign any papers, like kind of like you're only here for like a year or something like that. It'll just be like, hey, here's this date, go do what you got to do. Here's this date, do what you got to do. Like, nothing too extreme. She'll just show up in a couple random shows, do a few things, and then go back. But if she's like still signed, I just can't see it being her being Saraya's partner. There ain't no way it's going to be her at that point.
You know,
we have more likely bet that she'll show up in Japan than she'll show up on AEW, especially if she's still under contract with WWE. There ain't no way she's showing up on AEW.
Yeah, I think that the thing that's gonna, remember when CM Punk debuted and they said if it's not CM Punk, Tony Khan's really gonna be in a shitty place with his fans.
Yeah.
If this is not Sasha Banks, it has to be AJ Lee. That's it. Those are the only two people you could put in that spot that would not make people upset at you for building this for a month.
And I don't think AJ shows up after the whole stuff with Punk.
Yeah, that's tough. So I think this is going to be a massive, massive letdown here.
I think it's either Sasha or it's a letdown.
I'm leaning more towards the letdown part because if I know anything about Triple H, which is about literally this much, but if I know anything about Triple H as a businessman, he's not stupid. He's not stupid enough to let someone with this much of a presence as Sasha Banks, he's not going to let her walk away for just because he doesn't want to throw out the money that she wants. He's going to eventually cave. If he sees that Sasha Banks is serious enough that she's going to go somewhere other than WWE because Triple H doesn't want to spend the money, he's going to go, well, get over here. I'll sign the contract. And for all we know, she could have a contract right now. She could. And this could just be part of the clause that he says you could go over to New Japan, do your thing, come right back, be in the Rumble, come back, potentially win it. Who knows?
How sick would it be for Sasha? Because we were talking about it before. What would diminish her return if she pops up places? Imagine Sasha shows up at Wrestle Kingdom. What day is Wrestle Kingdom?
It's a 2-night thing, and it's the 4th and the 21st.
The 4th and the 21st? Those are way fucking apart from each other, dude.
Yes, I don't know why they did that. They have night 1 and night 2 for Wrestle Kingdom, and they're fucking like 2 weeks apart from each other.
All right. So let's see I'm
Rumble's
trying to see how I can book this. Okay, here we go. You could do this. If you're Sasha Banks, this is what I would try and do because it would make you the biggest fucking star. You show up to Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th. You pop up in AEW on January 11th and you team with Saraya. You could probably do the next week of Dynamite, I would bet. At least that Rampage they would do. You have her also go to Wrestle Kingdom on the 21st. Then she pops up back in the Royal Rumble on the 28th. Signed contract and all. She would be the one fucking person to be on all those fucking shows. She'd get the biggest pop at Rumble because they'd go, oh shit, we've just seen her on AEW in a match with Paige. And we just saw her in NJPW. We thought she was done. And then she pops up over here going like, I'm boss, motherfucker. I go where I want.
That'd be so cool. I'm not going to lie.
That's a big deal for her. Like I said, if she doesn't have a deal and she just gets to pop all over right now, she's living her best life right now. Holy shit.
Yep. That would be amazing. Can you imagine if she pops up on the 4th to start a program with Kairi Sane at Wrestle Kingdom and gets a match with Kairi Sane on the 21st, tags with Paige on the 11th, Saraya, and then maybe the following week does a one-on-one and then goes back and does her Kairi Sane match on the 21st and then hits up the Rumble.
And then potentially wins that.
Say what?
And then potentially wins the Rumble.
She could win the Rumble. She could absolutely win the Rumble. And that would be a big fucking statement.
Kyrie's got a title match for Wrestle Kingdom, but it's not announced on what date it is. So, which is crazy because Wrestle Kingdom literally only has, as of right now, 5 matches made official.
So cool. She could have her title match on night 1. Have Sasha come in, state her intentions. Night 2, face Sasha. In between then, Sasha could have those 2 dates of AEW shows, teaming with Saraya and going one-on-one with Britt, I guess. And then...
You do one-on-one with Saraya, too. Just say, let's just do it for old time's sake.
That, too. Then 28th, pop back up to WWE. have the chance to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
That's crazy because freaking, like, she'd show up. I was about to say, damn, if night 2 was in the Tokyo Dome, that would have been freaking crazy. If Sasha shows up and wrestles Kyrie in the Tokyo Dome, but she's not in the. That's not in the Tokyo Dome. Night 2.
Oh yeah, night 2 is Yokohama Arena.
Yep.
Well, if they haven't announced who Kairi Sane's going to face on January 4th, you could give that one to Sasha.
They have who she's facing already.
You know who she's facing? You just don't know what day?
Tom Nakano from
Okay.
Stardom.
So then, yeah, I'd say do that on the 4th and then have Sasha do one on the 21st.
So I'm saying just have Sasha show up. It's just give the stare down with Kyrie. New Japan makes it official for night 2.
She points at this WrestleMania sign that's not there and she looks confused.
She goes, "Oh, sorry, wrong place."
Yeah, sorry, I'm just used to a big sign for the big night. Thought there'd be one here. There's always one just over the side. It's all right. Well, I'll see you at the next one.
See you in a couple weeks.
Swinner Fox has a couple questions here. He says, I have a question, though. What's the deal with Naomi? She was with Jade at the Hawks game this week. That's all we know. He says, or does Triple H want the challenge and know that Tony will fuck up Banks and AEW? Look at the talent that has been there and the waist, and at the waist side. Swinner Fox, are you European or something? Like you don't know what we say? Or do you think it's waist side? It's waist side.
Tony Khan fucking up Sasha Banks.
But that's just
one
it.
of the biggest flubs ever. It
would be amazing if he tried. But that's what I'm saying. If Sasha said, I can give you 2 appearances and I want a team with Paige and I want to have a match with Paige and that's all I'm going to do. And then we'll revisit it. Like she could work Tony. I don't think there's any problem. If Jericho's taught me anything, you can convince Tony anything. He just believes you. So if she said, hey, yeah, I'm not doing a thing. I just want these 2 matches and then we'll redo it. I know Cardona, he showed up, 3 times?
Yeah.
That was what his contract was. Those 3 appearances. And then it was with the option to renegotiate and he never heard back from them. So it just was what it was. So if she said, hey, let me do a 3 appearance thing. I'll show up on this one and we'll team. I'll do a promo on the other one. And then maybe on the Rampage, I'll do a promo. And then that next Dynamite, I'll do a match. You know, like we'll do a 3 appearance deal. And then she does all this shit. That would be so sick, dude. And can you imagine your Triple H and Sasha? Both those people love the business so much. And Triple H is always trying to do things he thinks are just cool for the fans. Can you imagine if she laid it all out and was all like, look, I can show up over there and do these 2 things that we're not going to be able to do. I can go over here in Japan and do these things. And then I can be in the Royal Rumble. And then that's it. I'm with you guys again. Psh, long haul.
God, what a way
I could
to
see
kick
Triple
off
H being like, that's pretty fucking cool.
What a way to kick out 2023 for her. That'd be insane.
It'd be amazing. And if it happens, it's because she's a drinking buddy of the show. And she's probably penning it all down right now.
Yeah.
It's boss time.
Yeah. Swin Fox says, side note, Shinsuke is going to be on Noah, so Banks could be given that freedom. That's what I mean. Is her showing up in JPW right now doesn't mean that she's not under contract with WWE because we know that was Shinsuke.
Yeah.
And like we've also said, they don't know if she's in a match or not. They just know she's going to be there. So
basically what it is either she doesn't have a contract and she gets to do all this stuff, or she's under contract and she's only going to go about New Japan style, and that's probably about it.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I think.
We just fantasy booked all this cool stuff. Yeah. And we're going to get to the point where Saray is going to choose her partner, and it's just going to be Toni Storm.
It's going to be Thunder Rosa, dude. There's a big part of me that thinks that Saray is just going to be teaming with Thunder Rosa, and Thunder's going to get so much heat for it.
Bro, please.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying by like, it's going to be a big issue for Tony if he doesn't deliver Sasha or AJ Lee. Because my gut is that it's Thunder Rosa. And that everyone's going to be fantasy booking Sasha Banks and AJ Lee in this spot for the whole month. That by the time Thunder comes back, people are going to be like, what the fuck? And then Thunder's going to be given more heat because of Tony's bad booking. The whole interim title thing, I'm pretty sure was Tony's thing, just to slough the heat off of him. So, yeah, I think it's just going to be Thunder Rosa as another punching bag, and it's going to bum me out. But I'm still going to have fun with the fantasy booking thing. So that means if it's Sasha Banks AJ Lee or Thunder Rosa, I'm right.
Mhm. There ain't no way she's winning the titles, Splinter Fox. You ain't taking that title off Kyrie like that.
Yeah, Spin Fox says, would it be wild that she beats Kari and travels around the world defending NJPW Women's title? Stardom may have pulled a truckload of money to drive her that way. If she's under contract with, she would have to not be under contract and have no plans right now for anything.
Yeah.
Unless.
There is no unless, damn it.
Oh, he's saying that could be Naomi. I could see Naomi doing that.
That
Naomi going to Japan, taking the title from Kari and traveling around and just reasserting herself.
Naomi. No, he's talking about Naomi being Saraya's partner, probably.
Oh, he's saying Naomi's going to be Saraya's partner? Oh, that could be.
It could be.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll see. He says he loves Thunder Rosa, but doesn't think she's ring ready. I don't know if she's ring ready or not, dude. I don't understand contracts. Not up to me. But I just have a feeling when we look at the time frame for when Thunder Rosa was going to be able to come back or not, I feel like we're dancing in that area. So let's see. The last event of AEW was the tag team title match, Acclaimed versus FTR. I caught like half of it or so. It seemed fine. The Acclaimed win, and we just continue to push FTR off to the side like they don't mean anything. So I guess that's what we're doing.
It was a great match, and it was crazy the ending, having Cash Wheeler get out wrestled, which was very interesting to lose. But it was like, basically, we were just talking about this before we hopped on with you. This whole thing just felt like kind of nothing really that important, because all it led to was the announcement of the ROH tag titles in the double dog collar, and that was really about it. Like,
yeah, and that could have been announced anywhere.
Yeah,
it was just all like, hey, watch this team lose, and then now they're going to defend on these other titles against a different team that has beat them before too. Like, it just makes them look like losers. Hey, these guys that just lost, they're going to go defend a title, which clearly doesn't mean anything because they're not good enough to have our title. You know what I mean?
The Ass Boys doing it too was the fucking stupidest thing. But I get why they did it. It's just like, it was just dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Let's see. Spinafox says, I'm down for part 2 of FTR and the Briscoe brothers, but back to back, really. I think it's part 3, isn't it?
It's part 3 now, yeah.
Yeah. And the double dog collar thing, I'm not into that at all.
I don't know how the hell that's going to work.
It's going to be a cluster.
Well, they're just going to have 2 opposing members on a chain. Are you saying they're all 4 going to be chained?
I don't know. I
thought it was just going to be all like Dax in one of them and Cash in the other one.
I don't know.
I would
didn't
assume
clarify
that's
it.
how it's done, but like, what if they like chain the 4 of them together?
Yeah,
that's
just have a big square chain.
Yeah.
That's going to be a mess.
You're going to have somebody accidentally get like fucking anacondaed. That chain's going to wrap around somebody. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's Ring of Honor, man. Anything can happen. It's like they say, anything can happen in the ROH. That's what they say. What a maneuver. You know? But yeah, I mean, I will say all in all, AEW had some more compelling stuff going on here because there was a lot to think about. I feel like they definitely dropped the ball on the presentation of a number of things.
Yes.
A lot of people here. I mean, there was that similarity with NXT where you're seeing some people, you go, they just don't belong on TV right now. They're not ready. They're not good enough. And you're just seeing that. And you're okay, but I guess it's who you have. And so there is something cool about this upstart. I know it's 3 years in, but it's still upstart as fuck, dude. Like, how many times do we talk about people here even tonight and said, you know what, but in 5 years, it's going to be something special. Well, I think of 5-year plans all the time. So for me, 3 years is still real young. So Smart Fox says the House of Black video, though. Oh, yeah. They did do that big video where Aleister Black kind of introducing everybody again. I thought it was cool, but
I hope they do something freaking worthwhile with these guys. I really do.
Yeah.
Mostly it seems like they're targeting the elite. which is pretty interesting. Like, if they're going to be the ones to face the Elite and beat the Elite, I am all for them
Yes.
beating the Elite.
That'd be great. Sort of Fox thinks they need to bring Darby into the stable. But yeah, it's all good. Did you guys also hear about the news about Miro?
Yeah, how he's completely clear and they
Yeah.
just don't have creative for him.
Doesn't surprise me there.
Yeah.
How many
It turns
times-
out he
I feel like
hasn't
we've
been
heard
filming
that
anything. He hasn't been injured at all. He's been sitting there in the back ready to do stuff, and they just said, we don't know what to do with you.
I feel like we've heard that story multiple times with Miro. Now,
It's the funny thing about that. I mean,
Fucking-
I wish I didn't find it so funny. Because the reason he went there, and everyone's like, oh, this is where all the talent's going to go who were never utilized correctly when creative just didn't have something for them. And how stupid can you be to not know what to do with somebody like a Miro? And fucking with immediately, like, we don't know what to do with someone like Miro. It's like, fuck.
It's like Sean Spears all over again. I'm going to go to AEW because I wasn't used in WWE. Shows up in AEW. It just does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, nothing. It's just,
I'm not going to lie, though. That promo he cut that one time was actually great.
What promo?
what?
They didn't show it because it happened after the show, but they put the
Oh.
video up of it, and I thought it was actually
Well,
probably
then
one
it
of-
didn't happen.
Didn't really happen. Not on TV,
If it
didn't
happened
happen.
at the show, it didn't happen.
It was probably one of the better Sean Spears promos you'll ever hear.
Remember when he came back a couple months ago and then just disappeared again?
Yeah.
He only came back because they were in Canada?
Yeah. Yeah. And I called that too. Everyone said, oh my God, he's back. And I was like, they're in Canada. He won't be back next week. And yeah, he was gone.
Basically.
Literally hasn't been back since.
Basically.
So fucking, he deserves it though. He's a shitbag. Let's see. Spinner Fox says Miro's getting paid though. He said he re-signed just to chill and get paid. And
That's what he
I
was doing in
guess.
WWE, though.
that's what he was doing there. That's what he complained about there too, right? So
Yeah.
Spinner Fox says maybe he's waiting for his child to be born. Oh, he's talking about Sean Spears. I don't give a shit about his kid.
Yeah, that's probably.
Still,
Probably a
though.
little stupid little asshole kid. Let's see. And then Blue Boyd says prayers to Barry Windham. Yeah, he had a fucking heart attack in an airport.
God.
And then on his way to go do some sort of meet and greet appearance thing, had a heart attack and ended up in the hospital. So there's a GoFundMe on there. If you want to go find the GoFundMe, you can search Barry Windham in the GoFundMe. That's apparently it was a pretty bad heart attack, so he's in poor shape. So thoughts and prayers to him. Tears and beers and drinks. Cheers to you, kind of a deal. But anything else? Anything else you guys wanted to touch on here?
Not really. Only thing I really have to say is just like we got 2 shows coming up on Saturday, and it's just like I feel like I'm just not even enthused to really watch either one of them. Just not there.
I think we have more. Let's see. So Saturday we have Ring of Honor Final Battle and NXT Deadline. What days are the Mission Pros? I think
Mission Pro is on the 10th.
it's on the same day. Saturday also a Mission Pro show is happening too.
Jesus.
So if you're a big fan of all wrestling, like everyone on the IW says you have to be, where they go, oh, you either like all wrestling or you hate wrestling, you better watch all those 3 shows, assholes. Oh, not all 3 shows. But yeah, dude, Mission Pro's supposed to be good. We got some friends who are going to be down there. So yeah,
Watch live and tag on that.
Just the Mission
Title match.
Pro.
yeah, shout outs to them. So, I think I'm good for last call. You guys ready for it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I really got nothing else.
Big shout out to Ricky Starks showing that he puts the star in Starks
Yes.
and the
yes.
in Starks.
Like I said, just make that guy look like a fucking star next week.
I'm really worried about what they're going to do with him because I think he's proven without a shadow of a doubt that he is not taken as seriously as he deserves to be. So we'll
Yep.
just see how Tony Khan sweeps him under the rug like he does all the other people. So we'll find out.
Man.
So, all right, guys. That's it for us tonight. We're going to be back here next week for a brand new episode 1 right here in the dive bar of the IWC. Guys, that's last call.
Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.